Welcome to the Revmatch Podcast, the automotive podcast where we got twice as many beards, twice as many Kyles, and that's all I got. There's probably
double the technical difficulties, like always.
Oh, and this Kyle's wheels have twice as many of them get power compared to this Kyle's wheels, who only two of them get power. Ooh, Grande Cabeza, look at that.
Big brain.
He's getting there.
No, real talk. We have Kyle Gurny, Black Cat Racing. Another is MQB?
MQB.
MQB platform fucking broski. Who has built his car for a much different purpose than our Kyle has built his car. Which is cornering. So that's cool. So we're into that. So yeah, I was gonna sit here and talk bullshit, the usual fucking nonsense. Big ups to Kyle Gurny for being on the show. We don't really give a fuck if the other Kyle's on the show. He's always here. It's like herpes, man. That shit stays with you. Anyway,
pretty much. And he's always red. So
he's Kyle's like, I didn't come here for this shit. God, which one?
No, I did. I totally did.
Hey, he said he listens to the podcast, so he damn well knows.
No, he said he's listened to the podcast.
Okay, that's true. That's true. He listened to one episode.
Huh? I'm prepared. We're good.
You're prepared?
All right, perfect.
That's what they all say.
They never text back. Damn it.
They never text that. Dude, that shit seemed like it hurt deep. That came from
scars.
Would you?
Scars are forever.
Do you want to talk about
Scars are forever.
Brother, is everything okay?
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm crying already. Thanks.
Welcome to the Revmatch therapy session.
Jesus Christ. And that was the second time the counselor touched me. I'm just kidding.
They got dark real fast.
It's
what happens here? What happens.
It do fucking be that way.
Did you say Boy Scouts?
Yes. You ever been in Boy Scouts?
Oh my god! Why are we like this?
I don't know. I don't know. We're all just wrong. I swear.
Okay. Anyways,
let's go. Yep. Let's go over what everybody's drinking.
I just want to point out that Tom gets here and the chat immediately goes to 10, and I fucking love to see that.
Hell
Tom,
yeah.
you're the man.
What up, Tom?
Brings the people.
Tom does bring people, and somehow
we're not talking about no Prius bullshit, Tom. I swear.
Whoa, we don't need to see that.
That has to be a disclaimer every single time.
There we go. Yeah, no Prius talk. Love you all too. Yes, so let's see if I can guess what everybody's drinking. Nude Kyle said that him and Chris had something in common and that he had tacos today. So I'm going to say tequila.
Tequila.
Boom.
Woo!
Yeah, buddy.
By default, other Chris is also drinking tequila. Kyle's got a Ye-Claw. Timmy's got a beer. I mean, Mike's got a Ye-Claw. Timmy's got a beer. And Kyle's got a LaCroix and vodka.
Ooh.
He's a wizard.
Undefucking-feated. Okay?
We're all kind of pretty stubborn about the alcohol. I'm not going to lie about it. We're all creatures of habit.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Creatures of habit, or I'm just inside your brain holes. You feel that? It's my dick fucking your mind. Anyway.
Yeah, we do fucking talk all the goddamn fucking time. This is true.
Well, I hope you're wearing a condom because I have a dirty mind.
Oh!
Somebody else who knows get him to the green. Let's go. Yeah.
All right.
Just rub the furry wall. Rub the furry wall. It's gonna be okay. Just rub the furry wall.
Jeffrey.
Fine.
It's like your lovable mate, Jeffrey. Nobody success Jeffrey. Oh, fucking Christ, dude. I need you to put these drugs up your asshole. Professional as always on the Revmatch
We've been talking about
Podcast.
shit for 20 minutes, and we
Super-
haven't even talked about a goddamn car.
Sorry that we were late.
We do have a guest.
We do have a guest. Listen, man. You know, like you gotta ease into this shit. No, we were just having some technical difficulties. Discord's stupid. I'm dumber than that. So you know,
Nice.
it's like watching
Put
a
'em
bunch of
together
monkeys
and-
trying to fuck a football. So anyway,
Gosh.
it's a line from fucking Days of Thunder. I didn't make that up. Come on,
I
it's
know.
great.
Right.
Right?
Let's talk about this car that we're here to talk
Yeah,
about.
let's start.
Well,
Let's talk
well,
about
let's-
this.
Let's do a little intro of.
Yeah,
Let's everybody
you-
else shut up and let's let Kyle, not that Kyle, talk about. Introduce
let's-
yourself. Tell what this Kyle was saying. Tell us what you do, what you like, what you drive, what's your favorite color. When was the last time you saw your dad?
That's a tough one right there.
He's one of us.
Real tough right there. But yeah, no, Kyle, I've got a 2016 Volkswagen Golf R. Pretty much been my dream car for as long as I can remember, or at least, the R series of VWs. I grew up with the very, very first one was I don't know if you guys weren't familiar with like the old VWs, but the 2-point slow Golf essentially. So the
Yes.
4-door, the
Mark
worst
IV, 2
ADA
liter.
motor.
Yes.
But yeah,
I
like
had a
barely
Jetta of the
put up
same
100
generation.
Yeah, barely
85
put up
horsepower.
150 horsepower. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Dumped all my money into that shit, built it into something, and then wrecked that. And basically, ever since then, was kind of hooked on VWs. I mean, I put that into a wall at about 20 and literally walked away unscathed. I mean, completely unscathed. I had like burns on my forearms from like the airbags, but literally that was
shit.
it. And ever since then, just been sold on VW.
Isn't that the car that sounds like a Wookiee? Don't they call that one?
No, you're thinking of the VR6, the VR6 motor.
Oh,
This
never
was the
mind.
one that
Sorry,
literally
don't
just
listen
ended
to
like a turd going down the road.
It was
Like-
really bad.
Lifted Jeeps on swamp tires would outrun this car. Like
So,
it was the
yeah.
worst car.
I had a Mark IV Jetta with the same engine in it, and it's the only car that I've ever gotten to throw a spark cell at full throttle.
What?
Just blinking, like we can't keep up. We can't keep up.
What?
So yeah,
Absolutely a gutless car.
yeah.
Somebody kick Tom. Kick Tom.
I'm not
Tom.
kicking Tom. I'm just
Kick
gonna let him
Tom.
talk. He's just, he's like fucking grandpa when he's had a few too many. He starts arguing with the fucking lamppost and shit. It's fine. For real though, everybody put you're not hurt. Everybody put your questions in the chat. We'll come back to them towards the end. We'll just kind of bullshit about, but we're gonna stay on topic. He's already starting to talk about the new tech and shit. So okay, so you had the gutless fucking Golf. What did you have about that? What did you have after that?
So let's see. Went to a Mark IV GTI after that. Built that up to around like 480 horsepower.
Okay.
Big,
shit.
big like roll car. Like love doing rolls and stuff like that. Kind of just had that all through like I don't know, pretty much up to college. Wrecked that as well.
Seeing a pattern here.
Yeah, that one was not my not my issue though. So I actually had a set of race tires come in. I can't even remember which ones they were. They were Hoosiers at the time, but no idea like what model.
What compound or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like this has been maybe 14 years ago, something like that. Anyways, I had the tires put on at Costco because the family had like the whole tire deal and shit. Actually had one of the tires DB'd and come off the rim on track.
Oh no!
Was that a drag strip? Was this at a strip?
No, this was the firm. It's a kind of like a smaller like road course track in the middle of like nowhere, Florida, like Inverness area.
So you were racing a 480 front wheel horsepower Mark IV GTI on a road course.
Yep. That was me
Jeez.
starting getting into like road course stuff. Like before that, everything was just going and doing drag and like rolls and stuff with friends and being a little hoonigan and with stuff. But I don't know, like the road course stuff was like always something that like appealed to me. Had a bunch of older friends getting into it. One of my friends' dads had a 69 Camaro that they had like completely gutted, turned into a Trans Am car. So I helped him like work on that, and that's where I got like a lot of my knowledge that kind of helped me to where I am now. But he was the one that was like, dude, take your fast car out to the firm, go run it, and time out there, wall.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And I had had a short. I mean, hey, I walked away like, completely fine, like no harm done, other than losing all the money from it. But you live and you learn.
Pish posh.
Only money.
What's money anyway, right?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
for nerds. You know what I'm saying?
It's for nerds.
Money's for fucking. What are you, fucking Bill Gates with all your money? Get out of here. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. After that, then I got into a Mark V, and that's where really everything kind of took off for me. Like doing
DSG or manual?
manual. Always been a manual guy. Never gone to the DSG.
Those things are
I will
fucking quick
say-
with the DSG though.
It's the cheat code, man. It is the absolute cheat code on track. Like nothing keeps up with it. It's it's so hard. Yeah, like literally the trans that I have in my car is the only reason I can really outrun or keep up with DSG cars now. It just makes like shifting kind of like mindlessly easy.
So you have so you had the Mark V. How crazy did the Mark V go? Because I'm just noticing a pattern of you just like not really having a stop ability when it comes to modding cars. Yeah.
Mark V got pretty far. That was like partial built motor, so like springs, valves, all the sort of stuff you have to do without
Top end
machining the
shit.
motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that type of thing. Upgraded turbo, nothing crazy. It was, I don't know, maybe 410 at the wheels, like decent, like very decent for a
What
GTI.
year is this?
That was in 07.
Dude, I was pushing a fucking 130 horsepower S13 through the canyons in 07, and you're rolling around and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
like, and I was
Oh, dude.
working so hard with that piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, the suspension was done, it was corner balanced, and like I did with what I could with what I had, but that bitch was slow. So like, trying to keep up was right. And then my man's out here with like pushing 400 to the front.
I mean,
Anyway.
VWs are stout, man. VWs, like a lot of people don't give them enough credit for what they can do, but shit, once you start throwing that much power at them, there's a lot of weak spots. Like a lot of weak spots.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what my whole journey with this car has been. Instead of going like the whole power route and everything, I literally took it from I custom ordered the car, so got it brand new, like
Tight.
wanted no one touching this car but me, and I wanted to essentially turn it into, I don't know, like if you had like the GT3 RS engineers from Porsche building a Golf R as their like weekend car, that's what I wanted to turn my car into. So it was like
that's a really
taking the-
interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting like
That's a great
ethos to
perspective
take.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I mean, I've always thought of like the R to me. I mean, especially like the R was a reach car for me, and I can get in the whole story of like how I got this thing, but like it was always such like a dream car that I never wanted
Is
to
it?
ruin it.
It's about
You
you,
wanna,
man.
like-
Tell the
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Heck
Okay,
yeah.
well, shit. All right, well.
Please listen. The more you do, the less I have to. So I'm fucking here for it.
I'll drink to that.
Man's honest.
You
Man's
mean you
honest.
don't want to talk about Porsches?
I mean,
I
hey,
will fucking
Ooh.
end the stream right now. That'll be it. We'll be done. I'm fucking so done. Like, I'm over it. We're done here. Anyway, Kyle, back to the interesting things that you were saying that didn't have to do with fucking glorified reverse Subarus.
Ouch.
we'll get to the
Hurtful.
Porsche chapter because there is a chapter on
There's
Porsche,
always
but
a Porsche chapter.
there's always a
Anyway.
chapter on Porsche and some shade to throw at them too. But we'll
Oh,
get there.
okay. Now we're. Here's the
Yeah.
thing: is
There's-
that I want to be very clear. I love 911s. I love Porsches,
Yeah.
but these guys make me want to
it is.
hate them. Like these guys make me
911.
want to because they just won't. You know that band was like you like a band and then your homie like won't shut the fuck up about them, and you know what? Like they're fucking overrated. Fuck them. Like you know what I mean? That's where we're at.
That's me with VWs. That's literally me. But shit. Yeah, so I guess back to how the R came into my possession, how I got this whole thing. So like way back during like college, or actually it was just after college, had my Mark V, everything was going good with that. And then my mom actually ended up like passing out of the blue, like just
Oh shit,
dude.
man.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
rough. Sorry.
it's all good. It's been years, but like she was always like a huge like supporter of me, always like tried to push me to do things that I wanted to do, help me in any sort of like hobby and stuff that I had. And then she also kind of got into cars because of my passion for cars. So at the time, she had the very first custom ordered M2 in Florida. Very first.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Those are great
Huge.
cars, by the way.
Hell
She
yeah.
was badass with her cars. I mean, she had a great car selection. I mean, she had everything from like the original RX-7 to the late model RX-7, 911s,
Wait,
Corvettes.
like the SA22 RX-7, like the Savannah RX. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's sick.
Three RX-7s, a 911 was in there, a Corvette was in there, Miata was in there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she had like crazy cars.
Your mom was badass,
Your
bro.
mom was badass.
Was.
Your mom's way
She
cooler
totally
than my
was.
mom or my dad.
Well, yeah. So basically, the car was left to me. So I had this like amazing M2 now, and my Mark V, and just kind of didn't know what really to do with the cars. At the time, my wife and I were living up in Atlanta. My mom was down in Florida, so we had to essentially go down, get the car, go through all that process. And the way there's some like weird tax laws in Georgia that I didn't really understand at the time. And essentially, what they were going to make me do was pay like new purchase taxes on the car to bring it in, even though I had to pay taxes in Florida to have the title changed to my name. It was like I basically was going to pay double taxes on this car. I really did want it at the time.
That's a ton of fucking money, though.
It absolutely was. And
because what was the sticker on those things? It's like 60, 70 G's, right?
A little bit more than that. Like at this time, it was a little bit more than that. And I mean, hers was literally direct from Germany. What is it? What do they call it? The Bavarian pickup or something. You know where
European delivery.
So
Germany, I mean, it's like it's like if you're in a vacuum spending $12,000 to $15,000 on an M2, it's fucking sick. But in the real world, if you don't have $15,000 liquid, that is a huge problem.
No, and I learned that real fucking quick. Yeah, like had to kind of make a decision on that. It was either going to be, sell the Mark V, keep the M2, figure out what to do. But they gave you like 90 days to do it.
Okay.
So I drove the M2 around for a little bit, and just I don't know. I could never really get in love with the car. Like it just didn't feel right for me to be driving it. I don't know if it was just like the memory of my mom. Every time I got in it, just the like emotions and shit like that would happen, and just couldn't really enjoy it, or never really wanted to like wring it out and drive it the way it was meant to. So, and at the time, my wife was like, God, we don't need a two-door car. Like we need something we can like expand a little bit. At the time, she had a VW CC, so my car was the utility car, even though it was the fun car of all things.
It do be that way sometimes.
Yeah, going to Home Depot, putting like an 8-foot piece of plywood in the back, hatch open, driving on the highway, shit like that all the time. Yeah. Catless, so all the smoke coming in the cabin.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Let me tell you, dropping off my kid in my fucking straight piped STI is great because I can just see the look on the face. And so real quick, I'm going to interject with a pseudo embarrassing moment this morning. So every time I take my kid to school, because I drop him off every morning, I'm doing it in my straight piped STI and I can smell it. And I'm always like really trying not to give it any gas when I let the clutch out in the line. Right? Because it's like loud as fuck. Like it's it is unequivocally the loudest car of the group.
Yes.
Unequivocally. Right? by a wide margin, right? You could put 3 of Kyle's loudness in between Kyle's loudness and my loudness. Anyway.
Yeah.
I got a story after that.
Maybe not anymore, but before that, I don't know now, but before I left Kelly. Anyway.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so like and I'm always creeping or whatever. And you ever like wear the wrong shoes when you're trying to stick and like you just can't really get the feel for the clutch or whatever. So I put on a pair of shoes I never wear and I stalled out in front of the whole fucking school this morning.
No.
And I was like, cool. Yeah, this is cool. And as I'm firing it back up, I can hear one of the women who does the door opening. She goes, "Uh-oh," and I was like, "Damn
I hope you're watching right now.
Man.
Yeah, right. Random teacher at my kid's school. I almost said his school out loud, and then I realized what a horrible idea that is. So we're gonna not do it. If you're listening, I remember you. Anyway, back to the important part of the story.
another like diversion there. I had almost the same thing happen to me. Before I put the cage in my car, I would take my son occasionally to his like daycare, like preschool type thing. Right. And I'm sitting in line, and just like, you know, idling normally. Car isn't crazy loud at idle. I had this other dad come up to me, knock on my window. Like, I
Oh
think he was
God.
in a McCann or something. He comes up and he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know your car sounds broken. Like, your trans or your diff is rattling to pieces. Like, you need to go get that service." I was like, "Oh, no, it's cool. It's a dog box." And he's like, "No. You need to go take your car in, man."
Sir, it's
Says the
supposed to
dude in
sound
the
that way.
Macan. Like, get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
No, I've had it
Four-cylinder,
happen.
okay. It's a 4-cylinder Macan.
Yep.
Bullshit, I
No, literally,
guarantee
it's
it's
the
a turbo.
same motor. It's the same motor. I
It
literally
is.
almost bought a used McCann motor to put in my car.
It is the same motor.
That's awesome.
Wait,
Yeah.
does that mean that you could manual swap a Macan?
Yes.
Nah, ECU won't work.
You can, in theory,
Listen,
do it.
I am guarantee you
yeah.
can
In
beep boop
theory.
your way out of that. Like, you could fucking
Theory.
beep boop. Yeah, you could beep
Yeah, if
boop
there's
your way out of
enough
that.
money. Yeah.
Being
'Cause
around
all
knowing people that have seen testers and what you can get in and out of, you could program that shit.
Because
For that.
all I'm saying is that like a 600 horsepower all-wheel drive manual Macan would be
hmm
a pretty fucking sick ass whip to push around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know
before I
one
go
that does
down and-
all-wheel. I
What?
know one that does all-wheel drive burnouts.
we need to stop this
Really?
conversation before I go
Yeah,
down
I'm sorry.
another
I'm
fucking
sorry.
rabbit hole. Because you
I'm
know
sorry.
how I am, right? Like I'll
Yeah, I
plan the
know,
whole
I
build
know,
out in
I
my
know,
head, and
I
it'll just be
know,
like
I'm
this
sorry.
whole thing for like a
Fine.
week, and then it'll just like go on to something else. So let's just. I have
I
fucking
know. You move
automotive.
on to another car. You move
I
on
have-
to another car.
I have automotive ADHD, and it like, I've made the joke before, but I'm Brian Scotto without the fucking cash flow. So like, you know, like
Pretty much.
it's bad. Anyway,
Anyway, so I guess back to the issue of having both the cars needing something. Essentially, the wife was pretty supportive at the time. It was like, you know, look, you need a car that can do a little bit more than the M2, but you also need to, you know, you can't have two or three cars. Like, you need to just get down to one. So she was like, you know, take a look what you want, pick out like your favorite thing. So at the time, the Mark 7 R was brand new. Was able to get one custom ordered in the exact color, exact specifications, everything I wanted. Like I'm one of those big people that didn't want all the holes and shit in the bumper. I don't need like the backup systems and all the beep boops to help you drive. Like I wanted just to look like very clean. The old style gauges, none of the digital stuff. Just, you know, very kind of base level original R. Had all, you know, the nice R accoutrements like the electric suspension and stuff like that, which was cool when it was stock. So yeah, just basically custom ordered my dream car at the time. It was it was a trip being able to do that. So
no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like
Yeah.
silver lining of obviously like a super shitty situation, right? So
it was. It definitely was. And I mean, it obviously didn't like help get over it at all, but it just added, I don't know, new meaning to that specific car. And because cars meant so much to me, it's just like every day that I got in it, I just felt, I don't know, just happy about what was going on, even though it was like a shitty situation. Just
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. There's just more there. And the other weird thing, you know, I'm not like all like religious or into all the afterlife and shit, but every time I drove that car, I would see an M2 on the road at the exact same time. I mean, almost daily. Almost daily. So I always thought,
That
like,
is kind of
man,
weird.
anytime I see an M2, like that's my mom, like checking in, making sure that, you know, hey, you taking care of the car? Are you good? Like how's life? Like that type of shit. Like I don't know. It gave me that feeling. And every single track day that I've done, there's been an M2 there, and almost every single time I've gotten into some sort of scare or some situation just a little bit beyond my ability, but things have always worked out. Like
I think-
every
yeah.
single time.
I think that like
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I am not religious at all, and that's a
Yeah.
conversation that I will not have on the internet. But
We shouldn't have done that, but
Facts.
whatever.
my grandfather passed last year from COVID, right? And that dude was like my dad, and you know, you have like losing somebody that's important to you, like it doesn't like necessarily change your whole perspective on everything, but it just, you know, it can change the way you perceive things a little bit to where you know,
Yeah.
you think about things differently. Like I can't delete his voicemails, you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those
Yeah.
things, like you got to hold on to something.
Absolutely.
And I think like I mean, maybe it's a little poetic that like, you know, your mom was a car person. I almost called her a car guy, but you know what I'm saying? She was a car person. And
yeah,
like,
yeah, totally.
And through a really unfortunate thing of losing her, you were able to kind of parlay that into being able to do something that was super cool for you, which is probably something she would want you to do. Like if that's not the car for you, like, hey, please go get exactly what you want. And you were able to do that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's fucking
Hell
cool,
yeah.
man. Yeah, that's super fucking cool.
Yeah, so I mean now
This is to Kyle's mom.
literally. Hey, thank you.
Oh. Cheers.
For everybody who's
I need-
listening to this later, we just took a fat swig, so
Yeah.
drink up and don't be a bitch. Anyway,
I need a new drink. I need a new
look,
drink
wait,
over
watch
my-
this, watch this misogyny in action. Look at this, boom.
We were talking
Wow.
about this on Saturday.
Yes, we
We've
were.
come so far, but we have so much farther to go.
Damn, you get that. My wife kicked me out of my own office. She's like, "You're gonna be too loud. Kid's room is next to your room. You're gonna be drinking your tequila. You'll wake him up. Go in my office. That's why I'm
Dude.
in the woman office."
The woman office. You're not in the kitchen. I'm kidding. I'm fucking kidding. I'm kidding. I'm fucking kidding. It was low hanging fruit. Your boy's an idiot. I had to take it.
God, bro. That was like, here's the ground, and here's that low hanging fruit. Right about right there. Right? Yeah.
It's really good. My wife doesn't listen to this because I would never see the light of day again. Fuck. Anyway.
We'll let it hang on that one.
Yeah, right.
Let it marinate.
This motherfucker
Anyway.
said, I've got y'all playing on 3 different devices. Can I get a VIP section? Yeah, sure.
Ooh, let's go.
You got that
Girl,
shit
I
in
got you.
stereo.
I got you.
I'll bring you a free joint next time we go on a drive.
That
Here you go.
sounds dangerous.
Not for the drive, not for the drive. For him to go enjoy in the safety of his own home and couch.
You're flying, but you're flying.
Yeah.
Oh, Lenny, when you die, can I have the show, the GTR? Anyway, so it's okay. So you bought the car, and
Yeah.
and then so like
I
how
love
did
his fucking name.
what Dr. Bluntman MD?
I just realized I'm bad. I'm sorry.
So
What
I
the
just
fuck?
I don't know if you've listened to this. Lenny's been on a couple of episodes, Kyle, and he has a really cool. And if you haven't listened to the first episode that he was on, you should really go back and listen to it because
Wild.
as a car guy, it's a fucking wild story about how he came into
Yeah.
possession of his GTR, all the shit he did in Japan with his GTR. Like, I don't know if you. I mean, obviously you're not like a JDM car kid, but like every fucking like Halo location and thing, he's been there in a Skyline,
Done.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
and then now it's stateside. So.
Wow.
But he's like, oh, I got all these cool stories. Oh, what's your handle? Dr. Bluntman ND. It's like
I love you, man.
fucking
boy.
Mr. Poopy Butthole out here. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, don't you fucking show your bullshit in my bullshit, Lenny. Get out of here. Fucking- anyway,
Delete that.
I'm fucking right.
Shameless plug. Someone delete
Fucking-
that
I'm
shit
gonna
right
fucking
now.
ban this motherfucker. Anyway,
You're right.
Okay, so what was like the first modification you did? I'm sure you took the. Actually, here's my question: how long did you have the Golf R before it was no longer enough, as it was?
1,010 miles.
Warranty.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Oh no, not like it was 1,000-mile
Break-in.
braking period on the engine that like being like the nut about the car that I was like I'm following the book. I'm doing it exactly the way it wants to. Thinking that this motor was going to last me forever, and then here I am replacing it. But did everything everything I could to make this thing last. So literally did 1,000 miles, perfectly clean, all the engine braking you can do, kept it at a boost, like literally everything. I think I changed the oil at 100 miles, 500 miles, and then again at 1,000. Like literally did everything, flushed every fluid in the car twice before the end of the 1,000 miles. Like it was pristine, like doing way too much maintenance for no reason on the car. I wanted to be perfect, and it was my passion at the time. So like as soon as we got it out of that like break-in period, used all the boost, 10 miles later it was like, okay, need more. Need a little bit more.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Well, I mean,
Literally
at that
10
point
miles.
too, like you're used to driving fast shit, right? Like you've had like 400 wheel horsepower cars for like
Yeah.
ever. So yeah, I mean, what like Mark 7 Golf R was like 285 crank or some shit like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Like 290, something like that. Like respectable, but not anything crazy. And I mean, especially with the
You're in
all-wheel
stock
drive.
STI territory. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You said it's
oh my-
manual, right?
Yeah, manual. hmm
That's sick.
Yeah, and that's a big
Thanks for
thing
joining the
about.
conversation, Timmy. Appreciate it.
Just making sure it's the newest car, okay? There's been like 6 of them.
Six of 'em.
There'd be
He
like
has a
6 of
point.
them shits.
He has a point.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyways, but yeah, like you know, given like that it was like a manual car, they put so many nannies in these things that it actually like limits torque from factory from first through third. Like
What?
completely limits it. Like you can't launch the car, you can't like floor it in first. Like if you literally floor it in first, your RPM will reach like I think like 6,600 before boost hits. It just keeps the car so safe. Like nothing happens to it in stock form. So after like getting a tune, I think I did like tune and intake were first, and then started just playing with all the programming on the car to try to get like the nannies away and get it right. That lasted me for I don't know, maybe a month, and then from there it was straight to stage 2, downpipe, intercooler, you know, all the bolt-on stuff that everybody
Yeah.
does. So I basically got like the Showboy like power mods and stuff like that done all within like the first I don't know 2,000 miles total of the car.
Jesus
so
Christ. Okay.
yeah, you know, I mean, it's sad and at the time, I found out now, obviously, big mistake on APR's software. Literally, I had ran their software on every car that I'd ever owned. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
fucking
racked up.
APR. You know, like.
Hey, like they were the shit. Like back when I had my Mark IV, like they were the shit. It was them and that were like really pushing the game. And I mean, I racked up close to 500,000 miles on APR tunes across all my
shit.
cars.
Damn.
And never had an issue. I mean, never had like a misfire, never had fuel cuts, never had a single thing go wrong with any of
That's
my
fucking
cars.
wild.
And
That's awesome.
I know. Like, I mean, nobody believed me because they're like, oh, no, APR blows up motors, all this stuff happens. Like, man, it's been absolutely solid for me.
Yeah,
So
you know
I
who
was
else allegedly blows up mortars? Ed from EQT.
Right.
Yeah.
Kyle's
Yeah.
still trying. Kyle's still trying.
Yeah.
I'm still
Also,
trying.
shout out Ed. We love you, buddy.
Appreciate you,
yeah,
bud.
And
love.
Ryan, if you're listening, you're fucking dumb. Anyway.
I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. Hey Ryan, did you listen to the podcast?
Yeah,
Hey, make sure you listen to this next episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
I need you to get about 32 minutes and 6 seconds in. And
You'll love it. You'll love it.
I need to hear more about Kyle's car too, but yeah.
oh, just listen to the first 26 episodes of the podcast. Isn't shut the fuck up about it.
Well, I mean, I know the basics and whatnot, but like, you know, at least with these cars, I'm sure with like Subarus and stuff, there's always like little intricate things that you can do that like set it aside from another car or
Oh, they
know,
make
stuff
it
like
yeah.
that.
So it's everything forward of the transmission is the little intricacy that's to the side because it's a giant steaming pile of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
going to
tran-
drive it every single day.
The
Transmission,
basic VW build.
yeah, transmission back bulletproof.
Okay.
Everything forward, fucking garbage.
That is a very accurate statement.
But that's why you buy them, right? It's like it's like the only car not the only car, but it's one of the only cars where you can like throw 700. I'm pretty sure that dude that runs 8s in his blue STI that makes like 1100
tranny,
horse.
isn't it?
It's stock tranny, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
stock. It's a twin disc clutch and a stock transmission, stock diffs. Oh no, he has Cusco
Yeah.
diffs in it, but like they're Cusco diffs. There's not fucking drag diffs. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, no, the drivetrain is loud. It has a lot of drivetrain whine. They all do from the factory, but like and it grinds and shit when you're like really because it's it's mechanical. It's not. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
It's just right, but it works and it's stout. So you just have to overcome the fact that the engine is very expensive to get to power. Like,
Yeah.
Kyle's at what do you have 520 or some shit like that right now?
For now.
Okay, so is it 520 wheel and you're what like 6 G's
I
deep?
hate you.
Probably closer to 9, maybe 10.
Okay.
But that's not power. That's everything. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm just talking engine. So like if I want to get my engine to 450, it's fucking pushing 12 grand.
12 grand.
No. Well, yours on the STI.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I'm thinking about mine.
you have an 18, right?
Me?
No, Alex.
I have a 19.
Oh, you have a 19. Okay, same year as mine. Okay.
Yeah, I have the same
I
engine you
only
have.
had to spend $1,000.
Yeah, but your car was.
but I
16
don't have a
grand.
lease payment of $1,000 a fucking
second.
month.
I don't
asshole.
either. It's less. It's less. Okay, a lot less.
Shut up! No, it's not.
It
That's
starts
60.
with a 6.
Okay, $60,000 fucking Audi bullshit. Fuck you.
Like a $60,000 car. You're like, oh, I had to spend $1,000 to get a fucking. Should give you fucking hand jobs.
Hey, people use their credit cards for their car parts. I use mine for my car. Well, not my credit card, but
I don't
You
even
pay
want to
it-
go
you
down
pay-
the.
car.
You pay interest on top of interest. I love you.
My man leased a car, put 35,000 miles on it in like 14 months, and it was like, well, I guess I own it now.
My lease will be over in April, so 6 months from now, and I just turned 49,000 yesterday.
We gotta get you back in,
Damn.
fucker. By the way.
Yeah, we'll do it at like 49,900 miles. So I'm.
But
100
on a
miles
positive
away
note,
from
he
it.
makes like 600 foot-pounds of torque now, so that's fucking cool.
Not
Not
Yeah.
yet. Not yet.
Nah.
You didn't show up on Sunday.
I told you. Well, I told Kyle I was busy. I had hella family stuff that I was doing.
Do you even have to
My
do
parents
anything? There's just more beep boots.
Family stuff, make 600 wheel torque.
600 wheel torque.
Technically, I just have to put in this ethanol content sensor to read the content, but technically, I could just go to the gas station and do the beep boop right now and have my torque beep boop.
Cool. That's so
Is that
fucking cool.
is that the blower car?
It's
No.
the 3-liter turbo V6.
Oh, it's the turbo one.
It's
Okay.
a Macan.
Yeah,
It's a
we-
Macan engine. Yeah.
No,
It's the
yeah.
Macan S, the new Macan S engine.
Oh, I know it. It's right. It is in the con.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But dude, I mean, it feels fudging phenomenal.
I can tell you
Oh, now
from-
we're pulling punches. All right. Anyway.
No. When he dropped it off and I went to go drive it because I pick up my wife for lunch. Even without the ethanol tune, that thing was,
It's different.
dude. Like I thought it was fast before. Nah.
It's different.
It pulls hard. It pulls
It
real
like,
hard.
That thing, like, and it pulls all the way in the RPMs. Like it's because you could feel it in the beginning, and it would kind of die off top end. Top end doesn't die off anymore. Like it's all the
fucking
way through the
tight.
RPM.
Oh yeah.
And I can't
Hey.
imagine that with 600 foot-pounds.
That's gonna be fucking sick. Please just make it dope. That's all I'm gonna say. Is just make that car dope. Like get those fucking get those stock wheels off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like just fucking like make that shit sick as fuck. I
Well,
think you should get some
shit
bead
is-
locks for that motherfucker and let her rip.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
That would be so sick.
Well, shit has started. I hit up Schiller to black out all my chrome. So soon my window trims and everything will be blacked
Wait.
out.
Please
Don't let him
Jim-
rip you off, please.
No, but please
Time out.
one thing. No,
Time
wait
out.
up. This is really important. Keep the chrome mirror caps, please. Keep the
They're
chrome.
They're
gone.
gone.
Oh, they're gone.
Big gone.
They're
Where
gone.
you
I'm
been,
with
homie?
that.
Well,
It's that is like the Audi
Yeah.
S thing is the fucking silver mirror
Mhm.
caps. Like I'm team silver mirror caps. You want to murder the rest of the car out? I'm with that, but silver mirror caps.
It's fine. I can always just have them repainted silver.
Did you paint them black?
No,
No.
I took them off of another car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What happened
He's
to
got
yours?
stock ones. They went
I
back
mean,
on that car.
They went back to the other car. It was a wholesale
It's
unit.
the
I
fucking smallest
Give me that,
Cabeza
and you
move I've
take that.
ever heard in my life. Like this is like the most smooth brain fucking maneuver that I've ever heard.
Why? We do that. How do you think Isaac got half the shit on his STI? He
No,
got
I'm
it
not
from
talking about
fucking
that.
wholesale.
I'm talking about if he wants a fact. Aren't those metal mirror caps?
No.
Oh,
The
okay.
real ones are
Plastic.
no. The silver ones are the real deal RS ones are metal.
No. We're talking
Oh.
S. We're not talking
No,
RS.
not
We're
RS,
talking
for an
Oh,
S.
okay.
S4.
Yeah.
No, they're just painted plastic.
Yeah, that's
They're
one.
vacuum
The RS,
metalized.
no, he's right. The RS,
RSs are metal. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if
RS7
you
and the
literally
RS8
gave
should-
away RS ones, like, you could have bought like 4 sets of caps if you sold those.
Or-
Like, it's unbelievable what people
Or
pay.
big brain, you just buy black vinyl and wrap them in your fucking garage and put them back on the car. And then if you ever want them back to silver, you just pull the vinyl off.
The man's got a point.
solid fucking point.
It's like
Solid.
$3 for a roll of Avery Black on fucking Amazon. For the
Here,
record,
let me hit up Zach and have Zach take them back off.
Jesus Christ.
And
Anyway,
then Johnny got me black ring.
Anywho,
accent.
we're here for this man right
yeah,
here.
we're here for Kyle. This is gonna keep happening.
No,
Just
this is what it's about, man. It's all good.
So we're at 40 minutes in. We got about an hour left. When this motherfucker hits 88 miles an hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Right? So,
Dom would be proud, Kyle.
Oh wait, so I was gonna ask, isn't the manual GTI when you tune it, it like destroys the manual? Like, how
well,
do you have
that was my
that?
question. So he mentioned dog box. Wait, but you mentioned
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
So
Let's
how do,
get there. Hold on, we're not
Yeah,
there
that-
yet.
will
yeah,
you
hold
shut the
on.
fuck
Not
up
there yet.
and let me
Nope.
do the segues, motherfucker? Let me do the segues. Okay, thank you. The adults are talking. So
HR, HR.
how did we go? How did we go from
Fucking Jenna pops in the screen. Bitch.
stage 2? She's gonna smack the shit out of Kyle and tell him to stop being a pussy.
Oh no! Babe, don't hit me.
Guess who's going in the women's office now?
Sorry.
So how did the car go from bolt-ons, right? Stage 2 tune, that kind of shit, to I'm assuming no rear seat, half cage, dog box. I'm gonna put this photo back up real quick because this shit gives me lumber, which is the G tuck on the
Yeah.
the fast right. Is this Road Atlanta? This fast right hander?
Yeah, this is Road Atlanta. Yep.
Holy
Like-
shit, you are tucking the fuck out of that.
That is
Yeah.
lateral G's, my dude. That
Wow.
is crispy. We
The,
fucking stand that shit around here. Yeah, for sure.
Highest recorded was 1.7.
My man, Lenny.
Damn.
Wait up. Not 1.07, 1.7.
1.7.
Oh
Fucking
my god.
That's crazy.
For the record, that's like Corvette ZR1 C7
Yeah.
levels of lateral grip. That's
Yeah,
fucking
no,
Dude,
it
yeah.
hangs in the corner with like a GT3 RS. Like if they obviously are the better driver, they'll pull away on any
course.
power section. But I'm able to dive right with them.
Oh,
onto the
Lenny,
So
that's
what I'm
fucking
hearing is you have a
zone.
really expensive Miata. I'm fucking around. Anyway,
Yeah.
no,
No, for real.
but
real.
like how wide are the tires on this?
255s on mine.
It's like no, I'm not trying to be a dick. That's like Vienna sausage level meat. You know what I mean? Like that's not like you've got, like a lot of the dudes have built STIs who, the standard offset is like a 18 by 9.5, like plus 38 or whatever. You can
Yeah.
squeeze a 10 under there if the car is not lowered. So you're pushing like 265, 275
Mm-hmm.
to push 1.7 on 255. What tires are you running?
Fucking RT660s.
Okay. Yeah.
Damn,
Those are
okay.
good. No, that
Yeah.
is like those and like those Nankang NR1s or whatever. Those are like Nankang NR1s are super sick for like 10 laps, but they're cheap as fuck. So it doesn't matter, right? Like, cause they will disintegrate on lap 11, but they have so much they're like gum. It's like a layer of like regular rubber, and then you burn that off, and it's just like, hey, would you like to put some plastic adhesive on the fucking ground? That's all those are, and then they just disappear. But it's like an on-off switch, right? So if you push them too far, all of a sudden you just have no fucking grip whatsoever.
Exactly.
RT660s are the truth though. Like those are like, yeah, those are
Yeah.
like
good shit.
those are like 888Rs if you're smart enough to not spend 888R money.
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna go one step further. Say they're better than the 888R. Like the 888R, they
Why would
haven't
you say
changed-
something so brave?
Hey,
Did you
I
not
will
see
put-
that wheel tuck?
No,
I
I mean,
mean,
I'm
let's
with him.
be
I'm not-
honest.
I'm not gonna argue with him.
Improve it. I mean, so the other thing, like all the mods that I've done through my car, I've tried to research like as much as I possibly can, talk to all the possible people I can, and I'm in the engineering field. Like that's what I did through college.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of friends that have done.
Oh, we got a fucking
like,
smart guy over here. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
I got kicked out of school. I only barely made it through. So like,
Yeah, me too, but it was high school, so whatever. same, right? Same.
yeah, same thing, But like I just basically tried to like lean on any possible person I could find to like ask about just like different stuff about the car, like what kind of bushings would you put in, what kind of like tire compounds, all that sort of stuff. And literally from like most of the people that I talk to, especially a few friends that actually work in the tire industry, most of them right now are doing motorcycles and bicycle stuff. They're within the organization that's also doing road course tires and stuff like that. They were basically saying that like 888Rs are like 20-year-old technology. Like they haven't changed the compound ever. Like it's the same original shit. Nothing has changed. And now you can do like a 295 888R and get the same grip out of a 255 RT660.
Damn.
Crazy.
That's fucking
Wow.
wild.
I mean, I haven't driven them to back it up, but from every person that I've spoken to about it, they all
Like
have said that.
empirically speaking, like
they all push me to do like, hey, try RT660. If you really want to break the bank, the AO52, but they won't last. Like you do.
That's what my buddy was running on his Integra forever was AO52.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic tire. I mean, that is like the king of the autocross tires, but on a big track like Road Atlanta, I mean, they're gonna get hot, they're gonna get greasy.
Yeah, you need longevity, right? You need longevity. Because like the tire that like I have PS4S's on my STI, which is a great like. It's not an all season, but it does great in the wet. You know what I mean? And it's like
that's my rain tire.
Yeah, they're not super expensive. Like when I realized that the shitty Yokohama Advans that come from the factory and PS4S's on a stock rim were the same cost, I was like, this is a fucking no brainer right here. Like I know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a track tire.
PS4s are amazing. No, I mean it's a really really good like aggressive.
Put 5 laps on it, you know what I mean? Like, and then it's like yeah.
Well, I mean, I've blown them out. Like I've worn them completely through the sidewall. I could go bring them in and show you. Like literally, I have 4 blown through PS4 tires in the garage. I've got 3 RT660s. I blew the sidewall on.
Mid corner.
Yeah, mid corner. Like tire didn't lose air, but the entire sidewall just like separated. Like the entire bead just.
Holy crap.
So like literally a bubble for like half the rim.
So the real question here is like, at that moment, theoretically, if someone had shoved a lump of coal up your ass, would you then generate a diamond?
Ooh.
The seat cushion was already blocking it, man. The seat cushion was so far up there.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I mean,
butt chugging, my dude.
Butt chugging.
Oh. Yeah, no, I've had some moments like that. Like there's a few like divots on some of the exits of like the curbing on some of the corners, and I mean I've smacked them going as fast as I possibly can go, and the car's like jumped like all 4 tires off the ground, landed a little ways over, and then like immediately
moments.
feel
like,
yeah.
I don't hate those moments. Like one there, like I've done shit like that. Like dude, we fucking hit the first time we hit Mosquito Ridge. I hit a giant chunk of fucking asphalt that came off. Like mid corner, and I was driving very slow because I had never driven Mosquito Ridge, which I don't know if you know where this road is, but it's a road in NorCal. It's like 9 miles long. It's sketchy as fuck. There's no guardrails. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Anyway, I hit I'm riding in the back, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. And I hit a chunk of asphalt mid hairpin, and the front goes flat like that. Like just does this whole fucking thing. And granted I'm only going like 35, but it doesn't matter when you're on the side of a mountain. That shit scares the fuck out of you, right?
Oh fuck yeah.
And then you have all of the like, what if I cracked a wheel? What if I just broke a suspension piece? What if I right? And it's like, and what if like Subis are really notorious for busting wheel studs. Very notorious for it. And so the whole ride back, I'm like, what if my wheel just fucking flies off? You know what I mean? Like, so, just saying.
Yeah. And like the worst part is like half the times that I've had these like tire failures, I've had somebody in the car with me. And like, oh yeah, and like the worst ones is like I'll like feel something and then like I'll pull into pit like as soon as I feel something like wrong with the car. And I've had a few friends like look over and they're like, dude, what are you stopping for? And I'm like, you didn't feel like the whole side of the car just like shaking violently as we were going down the front straight?
Yeah, like, when you're right seat though, like when you're right seat and you don't like the steering wheel in your hand is the thing, right? That's like where all the communication with the car comes from. And it's like if that's not in your hand and somebody else is driving, first of all, I can't right seat. That I can't fucking do it. I don't trust anyone enough. There was one night when I used to run canyons like a ton as a kid, right? And my buddy Zach, who I actually really want to get on the show, I'm gonna hit him up because he's got a 2000 GSR, and he's had this car since we were kids. He has not gotten rid of it.
Wow.
He bought.
I just said that in the comments. I missed my GSR.
Yeah, so check this shit out. He's had this car since we were kids. He has not gotten rid of it. We used to make so much fucking fun of him for this fucking Integra, right? Because we were all fucking drift kids or whatever. We all had 240s and Mustangs and shit.
Yeah.
This fucking car at one point was making like 700 wheel turbo
my God.
B20 non VTEC on fucking corn.
What?
On front wheel drive.
Up front, and he was like smoking GTRs and shit. And then he was like, I want to get back to driving in like corners. So he put wide front fenders on it. I think he runs 8.5 fronts and 7 in the rear. It's got a full ITR front end, JDM ITR front end. It's got the full, I can't remember the name of the company, but it's got a full aero package. It's got a Voltex wing on it. He tuned it down to 450. It's got a fucking like full on like race bucket in it, and he just goes and smashes.
Wow.
He's got the sickest fucking billet shifter I've ever seen in my life. Like K Sport makes these super legit like
Yeah.
and he's thrown more money at this car than I've thrown at any car that I've owned combined, and the thing's fucking tits, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm like,
I'm
And
down
it-
for that.
and now it's like I went from like talking shit to him about like, dude, just get rid of your fucking Honda, buy a real car. I'm like, yo, dude, like that car is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So,
And by the way, if you ever wanted to sell that car, I
Yeah,
might be in line to buy that from you real quick. I just tell
dude,
you.
honestly, the way cars are going right now, like he might be like, he's probably only like 10, 15 grand shy of what your GTR is worth right now. That's how fucking nice that car is.
yeah,
isn't it?
100%,
Like,
100%.
Wow.
like Cybon
Insane.
carbon hood, like the fucking whole 9 yards, dude. The thing's
Mm-hmm.
well done, Zach. It's funny because he looks like Paul Walker too, so we used to give him hella shit about it.
There you go.
Yes.
Hey, he doesn't really look like Paul Walker. He was just the only blonde white kid we hung out with, so you know, by default.
By default, you're Paul Walker.
You're fucking Brian Spooner. Okay, so let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's get to the real shit. So,
Yeah.
like, when did the switch flip and you just said, "Fuck it, I'm going for it," and it just went all out? And like, how far have you come so far? Like, what's like done to the car as it sits right now?
Yeah. So really what flipped the switch, like I had done a bunch of different racing schools just all throughout my life. Like I've done open wheel with Skip Barber. I've done
Sick.
BMW racing school. I've done their M school, which is like the lower level thing before you can get to the racing school. Done that multiple times, which is a fucking blast. Like if you ever wanted to do a driving experience where you actually drive, BMW school is the one to do. Like
Yeah.
every other one is absolute shit. Like Porsche, you drive for maybe 45 minutes in a 6-hour time period. At
You're talking about
BMW,
PEC?
well, there's one here in Atlanta. It's like the Porsche Experience Center.
Yeah,
like,
so there's one in LA
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
yeah. So it's the same thing. It's essentially they take you through like all of the different classrooms and show you like where the F1 drivers do like the reaction button wall and shit like this, like stuff that like I don't give a shit about whatsoever. I want to drive the damn car. and literally in a 6-hour time period, I drove the car 45 minutes. 45 minutes, and it's a small track. It was just, and
Didn't
it
do it
was a
for you.
waste of money.
I mean,
Yeah,
to be
it
fair, you're
was-
like jaded by running road fucking Atlanta all the time. Like,
So at the time, I hadn't driven Road Atlanta.
okay.
At the time, I had never driven Road Atlanta. So like this was like me trying to get into it. Like I'd always like loved racing and wanted to do
Atlanta's
more
track
of it.
is set
Road
up
Atlanta
for
is
not.
amazing.
Yeah.
No. At Porsche, it's not set up for a racetrack. Porsche there is set up for certain scenarios, certain
Mm.
things that they're going to throw you through versus Road America, where that's a fucking real racetrack.
Yeah, Road America.
Yeah.
But
But,
anyways, like the
don't
Experience
teach
Center
you
was the only
shit.
one I've done here. Like I
Yeah.
haven't like seen the California one. So maybe they
Not
do a
much
better
different.
experience there. But yeah, like they kept it so curated and like very kind of like tight and restricted.
It's
But then
incredibly
when I did
Porsche.
exactly, like they were wanting to show the espresso bar more than they actually wanted you to see the actual cars. Like it was insane. Like, here, let us show you the sauna and the espresso bar that we have for the drivers and whatnot. And it's like, come on, like what are we here for? BMW, man, they do an 8-hour class, and it's seriously 7 hours behind the wheel. Like it
Fuck yeah.
is you are
Wow.
tired at the end of the day.
I'm with
And
that
and
shit, though.
that is what really started pushing me to try to get on track to do more with like my R. Like I've done obviously the other cars hit like the firm, and I've done Sebring and stuff like that, but with the R I hadn't done anything. So it was kind of like, okay, let's get back into that. Let's really try to like go after it. I started doing all the kind of like the club tracking events, and really after the first, I want to say 2, I started seeing like, yeah, there's like mega deficiencies in the car that need to be fixed, especially at like the speeds that it was starting to push. Like brake fade, serious body roll in the car, snap oversteer, all that sort of like weird stuff. Ice mode and braking, Kyle. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's like scary as shit. Like go flat to the floor on the brakes, car brakes perfectly fine for like about a second, and then next second there's no brakes whatsoever. Like, I mean, your foot is still flat, you're still putting all the pressure you can.
It thinks
and
you're on the ice. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it essentially thinks that you're going too fast and you're emergency braking when you shouldn't be. It thinks that you're fucking up.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it does.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's lots of programs like that in the car that a lot of people don't know about, a lot of people don't turn off or they don't change, and they get stuff like that all the time on track. You'll be flying into a corner, go to the brakes, and just nothing happens. And people have lost cars like that. So yeah, I started to find out a lot of the deficiencies there, and just really started kind of going through methodically, logging different changes within the system. So like I would change a brake setting and then go out and test the car and log it and see if the same interventions would happen, and throttle cuts and all that sort of stuff. Kind of just like work through a very long list of those mods.
You engineered it. You scienced the fuck out of it. Is essentially what you.
I mean, ish. I mean, like,
to be
yeah,
that
like
methodical and like to break
Yeah.
it down, like that's not something that I would do, right? Like I would change 7 things and be like, it feels like shit. Let's dial back 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I
So
mean,
when you were saying you change things, you just basically use what VADCOM and change the settings on there, right?
yeah, Batcom, OBD11, either one
Yeah.
works.
So if you guys don't know, like what's awesome about Volkswagen is you can actually go into each ECU, right, and change its setting. So I'm able to, on my GTI, get traction control completely off, just like the Golf R, where from the factory, it doesn't give you that option.
Or you can change how many pops come when you want to go pop.
Yeah, that's EQT.
Verbal tunes are for children.
Okay.
If I want to snap,
But yeah,
crackle,
you-
pop, I'll use some fucking right script. He's get the fuck out of here with that shit. Anyway. All
Who
my
hurt
verbals
you?
listen,
Who hurt
listen.
you?
My shit backfires and it's just from
California.
fucking too much fuel,
California
baby. That's it.
By the way, Kyle, we're gonna cross-reference some ECU tuning or factory ECU.
You guys are
tuning.
what are you guys gonna sword fight?
Yeah,
Oh,
cross
boy.
cross
Oh,
streams,
boy.
whatever you
Cross the
want.
streams.
No.
It's top shelf content.
Don't be
right
mad.
there.
Don't be mad because you're slow. Okay.
Listen, to be fair, technically, Chris has the slowest car here now.
Oof. That's true.
And that one really doesn't start.
Wait. Technically, it's still Tacoma, but it's reliable. So
I was talking about the Elko. That bitch don't move, so it's slow and it don't
Yeah.
start.
Hey, way more reliable than some
Your-
Audi that Timmy drives.
Mm.
Ooh.
The only thing I've brought it in the shop for is for rattles.
Wow, you're that guy.
That's
Hell
you
yeah.
are.
Fuck yeah, I am.
So what if I put
Yeah,
40,000
he is.
miles on
I-
my car in 20
That
years?
bitch needs fucking brakes. The brake light is on. This fool drops it off for fucking
done.
Mine's not
3
even on
rattles.
camera right now. It's just dad yelling at you from the other room.
Because I was taking a leak. And fucking this fool drops it off for all kinds of bullshit rattles, and I get to make no money. But it's like, oh, my
Just
brother's gonna do
mad.
my brakes
I-
for $200. Oh, I can't just help Mike out, spend some money.
Yeah, spend $900.
I'd have got
Timmy's
you
that
employee
guy.
pricing.
Yeah, bro. I would have done your brakes for
699.
$5.
Anyway,
That's more than my race brakes.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to talk
Damn.
about how much my brakes cost.
Oof.
All right,
Yeah,
back to Kyle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
What do you want
whatever.
from me?
Yeah, fine. But yeah, like
So, yeah,
I
so we're-
basically,
No, go ahead. Good. Go.
um, Yeah, like I did the schools, wanted to get into it, and then honestly, what really put me over the edge was my wife took me to Petit Le Mans. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but it's like Le Mans style cars racing at Road Atlanta for I think it's 14 hours or 12 hours. Yeah,
Usually,
it's like
it's 12 or 24 is usually what they do, right? Yeah.
yeah. So it's their big race. I mean, people from all over the world are there. F1 drivers are competing. Like, I mean, it's crazy. It's like a big like Bavarian festival that they put on. So it's super super fun. But she got me tickets for that for my birthday. Or actually, no, that might have been actually that was an anniversary. Yeah. Anyway, so she took me to that. Had like a phenomenal time, and like they literally let you walk all over the track. Like, I mean, anywhere and everywhere. So you got like the best view of everything. I mean, after that, it was just like I need to drive here more. Like I have to do this. So it was just pursuing and finding every single club that would like allow a driver with like my like background and stuff to come in, do their driver test, so I could get like up in their ranks, so I could start driving, in the groups that I wanted to drive in, not novice and shit like that. Like that was one thing that I found like a lot of people don't want to do these track days because they all feel like, oh, I'm gonna have an instructor the entire time. People are gonna want to make me go slow, like all that sort of shit. But really, it's you have like two events, maybe three, where you have to have an instructor with you before, as long as you're decent, they'll let you go free.
I mean,
Do
I
your
feel
own
like that
thing.
shit's like, I feel like people have an inflated sense of their own ability too,
Oh yeah, big
especially in
time.
like a track setting.
time.
Like, it's one thing to like if you run a canyon, there's a lot of things that like kind of limit how fast you go. Whether it's survival instinct or other cars on the road, visibility, whatever, you're worried about a cop. There's just a lot of other shit. On a track, it's like, hey, you're supposed to go as fucking fast as you can here. And
Yeah, no, exactly.
there's a lot of elevation changes, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have not I think people assume that not having the restrictions means that you'll instantly adapt, and it's like, no, it's an infinitely more complex situation. It's safer, right? It's safer in a lot of respects, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you got to be on your fucking P's and Q's, because now you have to worry about everybody around you is trying to go fast as fuck. So when there's a GT2 RS behind you and you're in your fucking shitbox, do you know which side of the track you're supposed to be on so he doesn't cream your
Correct.
fucking clock and you got to pay for $700,000 worth of car? You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and be able to make those decisions comfortably and understand that, like, he knows to not pass me here. He knows to wait to go here, but I need to make sure I give him the point. But, like, you know what I mean? It's like making those splits,
Yeah.
and you're not really slowing down either. You're still running your
Oh.
lap. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah. Everybody thinks they're
I mean-
everybody thinks they're fucking Michael Schumacher until they have to be. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously I'm guilty of it. Everybody is, like, when they go out. Like the big group that I run with here, they call it the red mist. And essentially they call it like you get the red mist over your eyes when you see someone in front of you that you think you can catch, so you're gonna push to catch them. Whether or not you should or not, you're gonna try it because of the red mist and shit like that. And I mean, I'm guilty of it. It's happened to me. I've gotten into hairy situations from it, but I've tried to learn to not do that. And every time I've gone, I've either ridden with an instructor or had some sort of race driver that's there come and do a ride along with me, do lead follow, just something. Because every time I want to go, I want to learn more. Like,
Yeah, fuck
yeah, it's about like going out and turning the fastest lap I can, and just having fun. But
Right.
sometimes I want to get something out of it, like a little bit more than just the normal lap time.
Yeah,
So,
development's important. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like, contrary to popular belief, like, you really can't teach yourself to drive, quote unquote.
you can't. You can't.
You know what I
Not
mean?
at
You
all.
have to have something to measure yourself against.
Mhm.
And if you don't have that, and you won't pay attention to kind of the minutia, the incremental changes, right? The placement, or like the canyon I used to run back home all the time. Like, it got to a point where, like, I could see it in my head turn for turn, right? So, like, I would
Yeah,
now would
yeah.
know, like, where do I put myself? And, like, to be completely honest, which is fucking stupid, but we used to split lanes in the middle of the night, right, and do all that whole shit. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, dude, in the middle of fucking Angeles
It
Crest,
happens.
right? It's like, whatever, right? Maybe I almost sideswiped a BMW. Who knows? But You know what I mean? But
Keyword
it's
is
like,
almost. Keyword is almost.
do you remember
Yeah.
that Mustang came around that corner where we were running stubs at one time, and
Dude.
everybody's butt puckered at the same time? Yeah, it was great.
That shit was
Oh, that was lead car. Fuck that shit, Buckle. Oh
There
my
was
God.
no other cars on the road for like 15 fucking minutes, and then out of nowhere in a fast ass corner where we're all starting to like
Oh.
flirt with the idea of crossing the line, this fucking Mustang comes out of nowhere, dude.
I about had a
Oh.
fucking heart attack.
Yeah, so doing this at 80, 90 is not fun, right? Anyway,
no,
yeah.
it was not. Car did
but
not
it's-
like that.
nobody's car is like that. Nobody liked that. But no, but you get that you have to get that familiarity
Yep.
to like know what's coming up next to you, and like you go to like Willow, like Kyle was just at Willow, right? Willow's 9 corners. That's really easy to remember.
Right.
Road Atlanta's a bigger track, right? Road America
It's
isn't
only
even
12. Yeah. Yeah, Road Atlanta is only 12 corners.
that's
but
30% more than fucking Willow.
That's better math than I can do, man.
not
That's
everybody
better
can
math.
count to 12.
Mm-mm.
I barely know where I am half the time, right? And I'm running this whole
True.
fucking circus. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
Proud of you.
thanks, Dad. So like no, but I mean to that point, like the guys that memorize the Nürburgring, I'm like, you're a fucking like what? Who?
Yeah, you got to be a genius to do that
Right?
shit.
Like
Like,
R.I.P. Sabine
and-
Schmidt. Like you know what I'm saying? Like what a
But
fucking
you
goat,
don't.
dude.
In theory, you don't though, right? Like if you think about it, and you think about someone like a basketball player, right? All they do is go out and shoot jump shots. All they do out and go and shoot free throws. All these dudes do is drive.
That's a really
and
good
like,
point. That's actually a really
and
good
like
point.
and like to remember you get to a point and you think about what they do like in 24 hours or like Mons, right? And like it gets dark and you've seen the videos where the fucking lights go out
yeah.
and it's nothing
So
but
fucking
muscle
scary.
memory of them literally like, okay, I've done this 10,000 fucking times. It's this and this and this
Mike,
and like
wait, Chris has something he would like to contribute because he's raised his hand like 6 times.
No.
Well, like the point I was trying to make to like piggyback off Mike is like it's like your drive home, right? And this is like
Yeah.
why we've said it like a million times, like don't fucking make your car faster, drive it more. Seat time is more important, right? So like if you're gonna have a home track, right? Like do you like exactly what you're doing, right? Like how many groups can I get a part of to where I can go drive this track over and over and over and over and over again? That's the shit that's important, right? The seat time
Mhm.
on the track you're comfortable with, and then as if finances allow, drive more tracks, drive them more consistently, do it more often. So then you have the memory because now at least you know the layout of the road that you're
Mhm.
on, and then you can really start improving.
Yeah.
Because you can't go
You pick
fast.
up different lines. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like I think I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my initial idea of what a perfect racing line one came from Gran Turismo when I was a kid, and then you get out on the road and you realize like, yeah, that doesn't like always work, like taking the latest, like it's like, oh, take the late apex. Well, it's like, yeah, but if the late apex fucks you on the corner after that and the corner after that, then like you don't
Yep.
actually want to take the
Yep.
late apex on this. You know what I mean? It's like and learning that there's a bigger flow, there's a bigger picture. You got to get around the whole course fast, and you can't take it corner by corner by corner. That shit that just comes, it's like anything else. It's like experience. It's like wrenching on a car. It's like doing anything, right? Like you have to kind of garner that experience over time. And yeah, it's just fucking seat time, dude. You know what I mean? Like you just got to drive your goddamn car as much as you can. That's it.
Yep. And I've always tried to, subscribe to that philosophy, but I am guilty every single track day. I've bought something afterwards. Like every single
Yeah.
time. And it's usually
This'll
because of
fix
tequila, but
Yeah.
I mean, in every time it's always something different. It's either like, well, shit, last time I didn't go quite as hard on the brakes. I couldn't follow that Porsche as close as I wanted to. Like, let's get brakes this time. And
Yeah.
it's just like every time it's always something different or changing the alignment setting. And at least I think now
Talk
I'm
about
at
a fucking rabbit hole. Anyway,
That's crazy. On VW,
That's
man,
crazy.
on VW, I swear to God, there is a golden ratio for track, and it's only for track. Like anywhere else, it is dog shit. It doesn't work on the highway. But if you track the car, there's
Uh-huh.
a golden ratio for the alignment that just makes it perfect. Like perfect rotation. If it breaks free, it just slides nice and fine. Like you're not getting any like tail
They'll
rotation.
just kind of
nothing
push
like
out
that.
and like, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But I mean, the real secret to that is it's 1 degree camber split between front and rear. 3 degrees negative camber up front is what you have to hit. So 3 degrees negative up front is the minimum, and then obviously 2 or the 1 degree less out back. As much caster as you can possibly do, and then 0 toe all the way
Positive
around.
caster?
Yeah, positive caster in the front.
So you want a bunch of self steer?
Oh yeah, tons.
Really?
Tons. So like right now, my car is negative 3.5 camber, 9 caster, 0 toe, and then 2.5 in the rear. Yeah.
Because when I think positive caster, when I think super high caster numbers, I think drift car. Right? Like that's the first thing that because that's like the cheat code to like getting a car to rotate halfway decent is stiff ass fucking sway bar and a gang of front caster. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll at least get it to come around if you've got too much traction or like your gearing isn't right or whatever. You stiffen the fuck out of the rear, you loosen up the front, put a bunch of caster in it, and it'll at least be manageable around, right?
Yeah.
See, and these guys give me shit for running -2 on my STI, and they're like, "Oh, you're fucking very. This guy's running 3. Fuck off."
-2, that's nothing. Like everyone in our group's always like, "Oh, it's gonna ruin your tires." Like -2, you're not even gonna see that on your tire. Like you see more
bad toe
wear than
alignment.
that.
Yeah, toe will fuck your tires up way faster than camber.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
listen, on the freeway all day, I will tell like it. You lose a little bit of front end, like straight line stability, right? It tracks a little bit. You know what I mean? It does a little bit of this shit, but once you get used to it, especially on an STI where like you get lift off oversteer, so just like you lift off the throttle, it just pulls to the right. You know what I mean? It's what they do, right? Like, well, you have 3 diffs under tension, and then when you instantly unloosen all of them, it's gonna go one direction or the other. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But when you get used to that shit, it's just like this is what they do.
You run -2 and still get decent tire wear?
Oh yeah, perfect. So the best part is that I use
Yeah,
a pyrometer almost every single time I go. But I'm usually at about 32 to 34 psi coming off hot, and I mean I'm within maybe 5 degrees inner wall to outer wall. Like it's
you're really getting in
That's
there.
excellent. Yeah.
Three points across the tire. Every time I come off the session, yeah.
So for the record, Mike, to answer your question about negative camber, the new Cayenne Turbo S fucking cross coupe bullshit.
The Cayenne Turbo Coupe.
That bitch runs 2 degrees of negative camber in the rear from the factory.
I ran, it was -2 on my STI, and like, dude, I burned through a set of tires and
Yeah, but what tires though?
the Kumos.
Which Kumos?
You put PS4S's on the middle last. Like, you know what I mean? You put a good set of tires on them. The PS4S is, the tread is actually pretty fucking stout on the set of PS4S's, right? So, granted, you're going to pay a little bit more for them because you have the wider wheels. You got to put a 265 on them. So, you're probably pushing $1,100-$1,200 for a set of tires. But,
yeah.
I mean,
it's coming. I'm going to need tires soon.
But, I mean,
you already do.
They are,
yeah, I know.
The fact that those tires are still on those wheels when you put them on the
no.
Those are the same tires?
You understand that's a third set of those tires, right?
Since the last time we drove together? Because I don't think I'm pretty sure it's the same set of tires.
That's the same set. But I haven't driven it either.
In Texas for 7 months.
We haven't driven either. Like there's been one.
We've driven.
One.
What do you mean?
You ain't getting out of the shit. No, you guys have been in 3 drives since I've been in Texas.
Yeah.
No, how we been
in
in
this
3?
conversation right now? I just put your wheels, your suspension, your down or your catback exhaust, all that.
Well,
bullshit.
you were getting a massage, you piece of shit. Anyway.
Yeah. So just eyeballing it, just eyeballing the tread, you're at 330 seconds.
Oh yeah.
That's used
tires.
That's used car purchase level of tread wear right there.
Yeah, I think they start off at like 6 or 7. They're not. They're not good. They're not good tires.
Car.
Yeah,
I just
that's an
rotated
incredibly advanced all-wheel drive system, though. Like
bullshit. Have you heard? Have you ever? Oh, you have never heard Lenny's car back up.
I've never seen Lenny's car in person.
It sounds like Lenny's car is gonna come the fuck apart when it backs the fuck up, because it's got the rear diff that's locking and unlocking, so it's as it fucking backs.
R32.
Which year? Because I've got a buddy that has an R32, and his like pops all the damn
gray
time.
one. First of all, that gray one.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
gray
yeah.
one was sick, by the way.
Listen,
buddy
anytime
Tim,
you're removing a headlight for an intake, I'm fucking here for it, baby. Like,
Oh, yeah. That's his
1000%.
dream baby car, man. I mean, he did everything to get that car from Japan. I mean, it's so perfect too.
yeah,
Like,
no, that thing's
such a
it's
great
clean.
car.
And let's
Yeah.
honestly, that and I know it didn't come on R32s, but that gray and the whatever the purple is are my
Midnight
two
purple.
favorite. Yeah. Well, they don't even call it midnight. Well, there's that the midnight
They do
purple
call it
and that gold fucking color. That like it's almost like their Austin yellow BMW color. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a little more brown in it.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Oh, fucking love it. Fucking like I'm usually like a black, white, or red dude, but there's a couple of colors. So it's like BMW Techno Violet, right? That fucks.
Mexican
Then those
blue.
two colors from the GT. Yeah. No, I'm a Miami blue dude. I'm a
Mexican
Miami
blue.
blue.
Mexican
Ooh,
blue.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And I
Hands
like
down.
chalk until I started seeing it on every fucking Macan everywhere.
No, you like
Everyone.
chalk until you saw it in every fucking make and model that's possible. Even fucking Honda has chalk.
It's
Don't
really
even
it's a
start me with
bummer.
that shit.
It's a huge
Yes.
bummer. Okay, so Kyle, where is the car at right now? Like as it sits, like run me through everything
Everything.
that's done to it right now.
All right, so I guess let's start with power.
Yeah.
Basic bolt-ons there. So obviously, intercooler, downpipe, exhaust, intake, tuning. That's really it for power. I mean, that's literally it.
And you just
The
shredded
factory
cylinder
injectors?
number 2, right? So you're redoing that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hold on, like
Like
no
vehicle upgrades?
injector upgrades, nothing like that.
Nothing. Just basic stage two out of
So
bed.
what's it? How much power is it making right now?
I mean, that's like good
Zero.
for like 380 something.
Okay, so you literally went track build. You just went.
Oh yeah. No,
Okay.
100%. Like I spent all of my money, and actually I went back and totaled it up recently, and I should have bought a 911.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
But I went stupid. I absolutely, like I said before, like I wanted this to be perfect.
does it have
do
like
everything.
Moton fucking coilovers on it, or like what are we doing here?
Coils are coming. That's actually chapter number 2.
So
Really,
what's on it
was
right
the
now?
right now it's got Bilstein V16.
We're still
PSS
talking
10.
about power, Alex.
He's a stage 2 car. It's a bolt-on car. You want me to go? You want me to
Yeah.
fucking struck myself
Yeah,
off my stage 3
power-
STI? It's the same shit. Come on.
Power is whatever, you know.
Yeah,
It's
no,
got
I
like
mean,
the
this
little
is
things.
this is a suspension car, and that shit interests me because
Yes.
like suspension and brakes will change the face of a vehicle, right? Like if you learn how to drive to the point where you need to upgrade your brakes, now you're figuring out how fucking fast that car
Right.
is. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
correct.
So
This might hurt your feelings slightly or a little bit.
I mean, my feelings
the,
are already hurt, but whatever.
well, the stock single piston opposed calipers on my R can pull 1.6 Gs in braking.
What the fuck?
Oh Jesus.
Cries
Haven't
and
changed.
6-piston Brembos. Anyway,
Have it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
so how much would
Everyone-
let's make this a very easy fix. How much would your brake upgrade cost? Because I'm sure you did pads and rotors. How much was that? Just
Let's
the
see,
front.
pad-
Just the front.
Oh, no, I do both. Like that's part of the R. You have to do both.
No, but just
'cause
tell me the front. Just tell me the front.
Okay,
Because I
so
know
just the front. Was it $300 on pads? $150 on rotors.
cost me $900 to do my front brakes myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's so stupid cheap.
Cool. And I mean that was Carbotech brake pads, right? So the bitch stops really good now. But like,
Damn.
yeah. Oh no, it
Yeah.
like, yeah. I did outbrake a Porsche on the freeway the other day, and it was pretty funny.
Wow.
Like we were kind of like fucking around because you know my car's loud and like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it was like a fucking it wasn't a turbo. It was a fucking Carrera T, like a newer Carrera T,
Okay,
whatever, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's obviously
Fun.
faster than I am because it's a Porsche, whatever, right? But I threw it in Sport Sharp and I was like dicking around or whatever, and I'm like trying to keep up with him. And then like Texas, the thing about Texas is you come around a corner and the freeway just hits a fucking hard wall. So we come around the corner and he's probably a car length and a half in front of me. Car length and a half in front of me. And he slams on his brakes. So we're in the right 2 lanes.
Huh?
He slams on his brakes. I slam on my brakes. The 2 cars in front of us are neck and neck. He pitched it into the fucking emergency lane, and I stopped 3 feet short of the car in front of me. And it was
Whoa.
and that's no downshifts. That's just straight neutral. Fucking hold it and pray. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I got
Jesus,
this. I
take the
got this. I
wheel.
got this.
It was and Mike knows what I'm talking about. You know when you're just kind of slowly pushing your foot farther and farther into that pedal, just praying that it doesn't let go. Yeah, that's where I was. But I mean, it did it. It
Oh
held
my
it.
god.
It held it.
Dude,
And
in the
he's-
15, I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
there.
And he's like, he's off because his car is like fucking way more expensive than mine or whatever, right? And then traffic starts to move and he's throwing his blinker on trying to merge back in. And I just kind of looked at him as I drove by. So like,
did you throw your hazards on? Like a
No,
Tom's
that would've
comment.
been-
This
that's-
new racing. These kids are doing brake challenges.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I'm literally trying to prove that my car's slower than his.
Hey,
Oh.
I drove home tonight, and I drive home a certain way, and we may have talked about it on the podcast, but there's a certain area where there might have been a car accident, and there's like trees, and I may have been driving past that car accident when it happened, and the trees are still recovering almost 2 years later of like the bark trying to grow back.
Oh,
from
is this
that
when
shit.
your rim got chipped because that other fucking Subaru decided he wanted to race you? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Mike was I'm gonna tell this story because I'm drunk and I'm talking, but
Whatever.
Mike comes to work one day and we're bullshitting outside and I notice there's a chip in his rim and he starts talking. Oh no, fuck that. It's when we went to your house. We went to your house that night to go take photos and we pull up and there's
Yeah.
a chip in your rim. And I'm like, what the fuck? And D goes, this other STI tried to race him and the car like came apart. They were like fucking and he like pitched it into a tree. Yeah, dude. It was fucking
we were coming down this road and this dude like in a bug eye takes off, or I'm like I take off and he hears me take off and he's like, oh yeah, and he fucking like gets up next to me and like I'm moving, but I let him go. Like I'm not gonna race you. My car's not fast. It's quick. It's not fast.
Sure.
So he takes off and another car pulls out and I watch his rear taillights do like one of these, like it like tried to miss. And I don't think it clipped that car. I think he like went like this,
got
mid
too
around
loose.
and overcorrected. And this dude hit a tree and literally like I saw headlights hit the ground, go up, and then come back down. And I swerved around a wheel and something hit the car and my red wheels that I had were chipped. And like that legit was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
And the bark is still trying to go back. Like no joke, there's probably a 3x3 piece of bark missing out of this big ass tree that this car like.
Well,
crumpled around.
he pulled so like the thing about like and I think I posted a meme in the drivers group about it forever and it was like how to recover from a spin in like front wheel drive and rear wheel drive and all wheel drive. It's like front wheel drive, it's like, oh, you let off the gas and you straighten the car out, right? Front wheel drive is like point it in the right direction and smack it, and all wheel drive is like pray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Like
realistically, in like a symmetrical all-wheel drive car like a Subi, it's like you don't want to let off, right? Like if you're trying to change
want gas.
direction, right? If you like, so the car's coming out in front of you here, you're going this way. You need to go left. Let off, change, smack the fucking gas as fast as you can once the front end's past whatever you're trying to hit, and then pull it back around the other way. And I guarantee you that dude left off the whole time and did this shit, and it just came apart. And
oh
that's it,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
and like it's crazy to see like that was literally almost 2 years ago, and like it's still trying to grow back its bark from it like this, and like the tree.
Damn.
The tree didn't do shit. Like the tree literally like you could see where like broken wood was and stuff, but like
Vibrated.
the car
Tree's like, "What the
grenaded
fuck?"
just everywhere. That's what hit the car was something off of the car.
Yeah.
But I remember driving
So
through it
fucking
and like
right.
there was a wheel and tire over to my left that like hit like the curb that was probably 4 car lanes wide. Hit the other side. That's how badly this car exploded against that tree.
Holy
Jesus.
shit.
Fuck all that.
Jesus.
Okay.
And like the kid walked away from it. I'm just saying, but like that's some crazy shit.
fucking bug eye
Wow.
didn't.
Well,
So,
actually,
let's
y'all two stories. Hold on, real quick. Y'all two
Yeah.
stories actually reminded me of shit that happened on track. So, a real interesting statistic about Road Atlanta, and you guys can look this up. Every 300 laps that are done at Road Atlanta, one car is totaled. One car.
Holy shit.
Not that bad.
What?
It's not 300 laps of your car.
No,
It's
no.
just
Any car.
300 laps.
Sure.
So if you have an event with 100 people there, you're gonna lose a couple cars over the weekend.
Correct.
So every time I go, there's at least 3 cars that are totaled every single time. They tell you that at the start. They're
Damn.
like, "Hey, who here has crashed at Road Atlanta?" And I mean, 80% of the people raise their hand. They're like, "Hey, I've had something go wrong. I've crashed." And then they say, "Hey, everyone else that hasn't raised their hand, today might be your day." Like, I mean, they literally try to throw it in your face that like you're not as good as you think you are. This track will claim you. It will happen.
I mean,
And
Right.
it's got a
it's
lot of
fucking
shit going on. Like that,
yeah.
like people don't like, it's like you have elevation changes, you have quick elevation changes. There's that
Mhm.
one section coming into the section where they usually run the drift event, where it's
Yep,
like you're
yep.
coming uphill and then it's very quickly downhill, right? And it's
Yeah.
like
That's at the end of the long straight too. Like
exactly.
coming down that hill, I'm doing a $150.
Do you lift pre the
Damn.
drop?
That's
Do you
cool.
lift before the
No,
drop?
I stay flat into the drop. So crest the drop, and then I start braking at about the 300 marker or just after the 300 marker.
That's fucking
Damn.
big ball. Because I
That's
feel like
badass.
I feel like a rear wheel drive car, it's very easy to get unsettled right there.
Yeah, big time, big time. Actually, last event, when you're coming into that, you're diving down, then you make a tight left-hander,
Because it's
which
like a
is
long left sweep into that section, right? Like a very
yeah,
long
exactly.
left-hander. Yeah.
Mhm. And then basically at the end of that, you do a tight left into a tight right.
Yeah.
And last event, some dude in I think it was a E46, he got real tail happy on 10A and ended up actually spinning all the way around and hitting the wall behind him.
Fuck.
I don't even know how that's possible. So like I
Going
mean, people
fast as
lose
fuck, boy.
yeah, people lose all over the place. But literally in turn 5, both the stories you guys were just saying literally almost happened in front of me. So 3 events ago, I got to see an S2000 flip twice,
Oh, that's
land
sad.
on his roof on the wall at turn 5.
Wait,
Damn.
So
hold
one
up.
of the at the
The
exit of
car
turn
was
5.
on the roof? The car was on the roof on the wall? Like, here's the
On the
wall,
wall.
here's the car.
Like a hardtop?
No, convertible.
Oh,
Roll bar
His
saved
cage
him.
was
Yeah.
completely crumpled. Like he walked out, his cage was crumpled. Like everyone that passed was
That
like,
man's
Did his
whole
job.
perspective on life changed after that moment. I
Did
yeah,
his
guarantee
job.
fucking to you. Like, you don't
yeah,
walk
no,
away
like
from that the
literally
same. Like,
that night I
2000's
ordered my
not going
cage.
back to the track.
That night, what?
That night I ordered my cage. Yeah.
Smart.
I fucking
Smart.
feel
That's
that. No,
smart,
I
yeah.
fucking,
Yeah.
I fucking feel
You get
that.
your
I tell
cage.
these guys all the time. Like, I crashed in a canyon as a kid, and I crashed in a section where there used to be a retaining wall along this canyon road, but it's at the very top of Angeles Crest, and I hit a 3-foot remaining section of wall, and on the either side of the wall is just flying off the side of a mountain.
Oh god.
And not only that, but the person so my car, I broke a tension rod. So like every time you brake, it's trying to put the wheel in the fucking firewall, right? And it was
Yeah.
still down. And the next weekend, the person who was in the car with me was like, yo, somebody went off where we almost went off. And they climbed back up the mountain with broken arms and broken legs. And it took them 2.5 hours. And I was like, yo. And it changed my whole fucking life. That shit changed. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not invincible. Weird. You know what I mean? Like, it just changes your whole fucking
Yeah.
perspective on.
Yeah, big time.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna incrementally push myself into shit from here on out, because especially once my son was born, so it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Like,
exactly.
I'd way rather be the slow fucking guy for the first 3 months, and then the dude who's competent every moment after that, than like have to go out there and prove myself. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I gotta get home, dog. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I've always worn that as like a badge of pride, at least with my car, because like I drive to the track unsupported, everything in my car, spare tires, gas, like all the shit.
Yeah.
Then I lap usually faster than most trailered cars, and then I drive home. I'm
Which is
always
tight.
like, yeah, I mean, you guys ain't doing that. Like this is a real street car that can do all that. And then this past time, I had to go home on the trailer. So everyone
I
experiences
mean,
it.
it's part of
It
the
happens.
game, right? Like,
They don't
it's part of the
last
fucking
forever.
game.
Nothing
No,
lasts
not
forever.
at all.
So
And-
the real question I want to ask is, because we fucking super fucking sidetracked as we usually do, but suspension wise, you have Bilstein shocks.
Yeah, Bilstein
Yeah.
coils. So
Okay.
it's their top of the line, like tuner series coil. Like they
So
have
is it the
one
same shit
coil.
you have, Kyle?
I have the PSS 10s.
Okay.
Yeah, so
He's
same
got
one.
actual.
Same
Yeah.
Same
exact one.
ones.
Yeah. It's like there's only one level higher than those in the Bilstein like lineup, if you will.
Okay.
But I went with these. Just basically, they were supposed to be the best all around coil,
Okay.
and that's essentially at the time what I was looking for. I wasn't fully dedicated 100% to track when I got those coils, so at this point I am overdriving them. Like I think they're 400-pound springs front and rear, so they're not crazy
Yeah.
crazy stiff springs. But the valving is fantastic. Like I can
Hence this
hit.
fucking tuck right here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I can smack every curb and the car doesn't get upset. Like it just eats the curbs, which
There's
is
a lot to be
beautiful.
said for
'Cause
that. Yeah.
in Road Atlanta is one that you have to take. I want to say four corners. You need to be eating the curb, like either all the way up on it, straddling it, or
And that
just
shit is
riding the
like,
whole curb.
yeah, that shit is like,
Yeah.
that shit
I mean,
will
it-
fuck up the balance of a car if it's not set up right. Like curbs were not
time.
like inherently meant to be driven on, right? They were more like the edges of the shit. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fucking-
And on turn 3, the one where I'll put all 4 wheels up on it, the curb it's not like just normal kind of like flat painted curbing.
Is
It's
it
they're
chunky,
like
boy?
they're triangles with a 2-inch lip on the back of it. So like every time you run off, it's like like I mean
How
like the
fast are you
biggest
going?
through there 90.
Fuck
Oh.
off.
Oh no, that's nuts.
Bro,
Yeah,
I don't. Okay,
yeah.
so the other day I drove home and I was like, "There's a side way I can go home," and it's made for trucks so they know when they're in the lane because it's like, so
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
big shipping airport right by where I live in Texas, Alliance Center, and it's like like Amazon runs planes through there, or whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
they have those really aggressive domed like
Ooh.
things, right? And I drove
Uh-huh.
home and I pulled into the left-hand turn lane a half second too late and clipped it with the left-hand side of my car at like 40. And the car just goes whap, right like this. And that's when you go home and you jack it up and you make sure you didn't fucking break anything.
Right.
So, doing that repeatedly at 90.
Yeah.
Granted, you get
I mean, all day.
you get a little bit of like the off-road truck on the whoops effect where like the faster you go, you're riding on the tops versus like getting into
course.
the dips, right?
Yeah.
But like still, most cars are not like, you know what this guy's gonna do with it? He's gonna ride on a fucking washboard at 90 miles an hour. Let's make
Right,
sure we build
exactly.
it. Let's make sure we build it around that.
Right, right.
I mean, again, like that goes really back to why I love the R so much. Is it's just an inherently safe car. Like Miatas, BMW, stuff like that. Like if you really really upset them, they're gonna bite you. Like I've always found that VWs kind of safe. Like they don't inherently want to oversteer. They don't really want to slide. So if you get them to be able to do it, still want to revert back to that original kind of safe nature if you push them over the edge. That's why I've always kind of felt very comfortable taking it really, really far. Because anytime I've had a big slide, it's always been very controlled, all 4 wheels in the same direction, never swapping ends, at least. So stuff like that. I mean,
Cries an aggressive snap oversteer at every liftoff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like on the whole suspension deal, I've basically done every arm that you can do. So camber arms, toe arms, trailing arms, like every single one of those. Every bushing on the car has been replaced with Darylin solid bushings. The big thing on the front for Kyle, I did the Club Sport knuckles. So the Club Sport knuckles from the German TCR car, that mixed with the Super Pro arms and Super Pro camber plates gives you 3.5 camber. Like you don't even have to have adjustable camber plate. You literally just run the stock parts and it does it. It's fucking amazing.
That's
Absolutely
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
No worries. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like corner balancing and then end links. End links is a big one. I don't know if you guys have like ever like really played around with end links too much. I really kind of dove heavy into like chassis setup and using end links and bars to kind of fix issues with the car, and
Right.
it's night and day, absolute night and day difference using adjustable end links, being able to set the proper preloads to the car. I mean,
Right.
that I think has made the biggest difference in how it actually handles on track. Like you could do 70% of what I do with like a stock suspension, but
Right.
the rest of it really is that final setup with the preloads and getting the bars and everything set right. Like that makes huge difference. And especially like, corner balancing, me in the car, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It really helps. Like
that shit changes a fucking car so much.
it It does, and I'm surprised with how well we've gotten the R so far. Like it's 50.8% cross balance, so almost as best as
Okay.
you could possibly
Yeah.
get. And then front to rear, it's 54% front weight.
That's not
So
bad for a front wheel drive car.
it's only 4% off from being a damn 50-50 split
yeah,
like a
that's
BMW.
not bad at all
Damn.
for a front wheel drive car. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Big differences.
Fucking sick. Well, so you're. I mean, so realistically, like the rear stripped out, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So your rear strip out, your cage, your off-the-shelf coilovers, a stage 2 tune, a good set of tires, a decent set of brakes, and a fuckload of just dicking with shit little by little.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, I mean, the crowning jewel is the dog box. I mean, that's
Yeah, please. Before we segue into the end section, which is we're gonna take questions or we're gonna have Kyle contribute because I feel like that'll be fun. But what dog box? Why dog box? How dog box?
totally. So 100% the best mod I've ever purchased for any car to date. Like better than any big turbo, better than nitrous, better than anything. Dog box. Reason I went for it, I actually blew fourth gear on track on the stock transmission. Just grenaded it. So that had to come out. And at the time I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this. So either I need a whole new spare trans so I can have two and just run them both stock, or let's build this one up.
But
to
did you really
crazy.
lose a gear or did you just gain a neutral? Right? Like glass half empty.
I mean, he's got a point. He's got a point.
I mean,
Yeah. Well,
He's got a
the
fucking
problem,
point. Like the motor needs to relax in that gear
Every
and
once
just
in a while, you know.
yeah,
you
you
know.
move up.
Who needs direct drive anyway? Any my bad dude.
But yeah, so the funny thing for me at Road Atlanta, I use fourth gear 90% of the time.
I can see that.
90%
It's
of
a,
the
Pretty
it's a
time
big
fast
track.
course. Yeah.
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 I mean, you're only down to third for one gear or for one corner, and you only go to sixth for the big straight. Everything else is fourth and fifth continuously. So,
Right.
I mean, fourth gear was it had to go at some point. I mean, the synchros can't keep up with that, so it was gone, and I just started looking at like, okay, it's going to cost me $2,000 ish to put a new stock trans in. So let's see what it looks like to build it. And a bunch of drag guys had gone with FFE, Force Fed Engineering, to do their like drag builds and stuff like that. So I literally approached them about a road course build, and they picked the gear set for me. Essentially, we got a spare trans case from a TTRS, and then just loaded everything brand new into it. All custom built by FFE. They do a lot of trick stuff. So one reason I went with them is they don't publish what they do to your trans. They won't let you take pictures. They won't let you work on it. I mean, it's trick
It's a
trick
sealed
stuff.
unit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, there's companies overseas. Dark Side Engineering is a big one. They've got tons of different stuff that you can always buy to slap in your own car to make it a dog box. But FFE literally, I'm pretty sure they're machining in extra bearing supports for the main shaft. I mean, they're doing lots of crazy little things to make it super stout. Actually, this is the gear out of the dog box. So when I had it refreshed, I actually had them remove one that had a little bit of chipping. You can kind of see
Yeah.
on the actual teeth a little bit of chipping there.
wow.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So
So
for those of the people listening that, because I've gotten a lot of people hitting us up that are just getting into building cars and stuff. Explain what a dog box is in layman's terms, rather than me talking. Let's have you talk.
Yeah. So basically, dog box is using super old technology but turning it into race car parts. So way back in the day, you had to rev match getting into gear because essentially there was nothing to help get the gear that you're in synchronized with the gear that you're going into, and that means either spinning up or spinning down the shaft speed for that secondary gear,
Right.
whether that's up or down. So essentially what was created were these little synchro sliders that help either slow down or speed up the gear that you're going to go into. So it helps match the shaft speed. So essentially your shift selector can slide over and grab that gear. Dog boxes don't have anything to slow down or speed up the actual shafts, and they're mechanically linked through the 5 little ears. They essentially just look like a dog ear. So when you're selecting a gear, it's literally just slamming into it and grabbing it. There's nothing to slow it down and help it engage. It's just like literally mechanically locking. So you have to rev match if you're downshifting, or else it can literally like rip the wheels and make them, spin up too fast. I'm sure everyone has seen Top Gear where Jeremy Clarkson drives, the Eagle F1 Roadster, like that super high end Jaguar.
The E-Type, yeah.
Yeah, and you saw him like jerking the car around and everything and making the horrible transmission noise. That's a dog box. Like
Right.
that's what it is. It's there's nothing there to cushion the driver input. It's meant to grab the gear. Like if you barely touch the shifter, it'll jump to that next gear, even if you don't want it to. So you have to
Right.
be very cautious of like how you're moving the shifter.
Don't rest your fucking hand on the shifter, and also don't fucking do that anyway, because it's bad for your transmission. dumbasses.
Ever.
Anyway.
Exactly. Because essentially
Just
you're
grab the
riding
handbrake
that
and just put your
synchro.
hand on it. Just fucking stop touching your shifter.
Essentially what you're doing in that is you're riding the synchro and wearing out the synchro because it's heating up.
So, but
You have your
and
hand
if
on
you
the
don't know what a synchro is, essentially I don't want to use the phrase consumable, because obviously having to rip a transmission apart to change synchros is fucking expensive, but they're brass rings and they're meant to be able to kind of beat on each other a little bit, and then they grab each other, and then the gear locks itself in after that. So basically, if you're not perfectly aligned in revs or whatever, this is why you can go from third to second when you're at fucking 5,000 RPM in third, and go down to second and like not technically money shift your shit or grenade your transmission, even though it's hating you for all of it, is because of the synchro, right?
Correct.
But you don't have
Dog
any of
box
that.
is no protection. Yeah,
Right.
there's no protection whatsoever. I mean, if you can money shift it in a heartbeat. Like it's very easy to do
Which
that.
is hilarious for the internet, terrible for your
Yeah.
wallet.
Yes.
Exactly. And even worse than that is driving the car slow. So like that was the number one thing that the guys at FFE warned me about. They were like, you can no longer drive this car slow. Anytime you're driving it, you have to be on gas as you're shifting, and you have to literally slam the damn gear. Like you can't gingerly change the gear. You can't be nice to it. It's like being mean and just slamming it to whatever
So
gear
it's
you
like
want.
driving
So-
an STI.
Yeah. But like in
No,
90%
like
of my
they hate,
gear-
Pretty much.
hate smooth shifts. They hate it. The whole car does.
Nope.
It seems like you don't know how to drive stick. It just wants to get beat on, but not to the same degree.
Wow.
It's no, they're
Oh,
listen,
true.
they're not refined at all.
Any way, shape, or form.
You're spending $40,000 that is objectively worse in every measurable quantity, because you watched a lot of Initial D as a kid.
I don't like the RS4 gearbox.
You're okay.
Yeah.
So
I feel the
this is
same.
still
I
on
feel the same
Volkswagen. This is
way
still
in
on
STI.
Volkswagen. Timmy's brother just bought a manual RS4, the B7 RS4, right?
B8. No,
So there's
it's
a
B7.
lot.
Sorry. Yes,
There's a
it's
lot you can do to
Seven.
make it better. Like tons that you can do to
Like
make
a
it
blower.
better. Like
I sent it to him. He's got the
Really?
link. He's got the link. We're talking about a straight pipe.
Ooh.
Ooh. I don't even hate that, because like
Ooh.
straight pipe quad cam V8s,
It's loud.
but they're a special type of crispy. Like if you've ever heard
Yeah.
like a straight piped 1UZ, so like a SC400 or like a LS400, they sound so fucking good straight pipe. Like they're slow as fuck, but god damn it if they don't sound good.
It sounds really good getting there, though. Let me tell you.
I don't even care. I'm not even mad. Like it's you gotta
Whatever.
you take your
As
licks
long
where you
as
can
it
get them,
sounds.
brother.
Sound.
So like the funny thing that's like that you're saying is like, you can't drive it slow. It's a full fucking race transmission, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And like, how much did that set you back, if you don't mind me asking? If you don't mind telling
It
me.
was one of the more expensive ones, about 10K.
Okay. Which is, I mean, but listen, like,
That's
I
not
mean,
that
I was
bad.
gonna
It's
say
not
like
that bad.
6, so like it's really not that bad.
this motherfucker's
mean-
again. This is that whole like people don't understand how much money is money thing. Is like, oh, it's only $4,000. It's only 40% more than the $6,000 that I thought it was. But
Yeah.
like, so again, going back to Japanese and drift cars, since it's literally the only thing I think about 24/7. Ken Gushi has his street, he has his street IS 300, so like the L Tesla level, right? And he was like, "Oh, I have all these super cool race parts from my last year's Formula Drift car, so let me take this $30,000 Samsonite sequential transmission and put it in my IS daily." because
Mhm.
why not, right? And it's a
It
stock 1J,
Stupid. Yep.
completely stock 1J with the Samstone is sequential, and that bitch is fast as fuck because shifts in a half second, right? But the difference with the sequential, which is obviously 3 times as expensive as what you're driving, is that you can meander it around town. It's loud. It makes a lot of drivetrain noise.
Yeah.
But you're clutching out of first, so you still get easy engagement in it. You have a synchro at first gear, whatever, right? And then it just fucking spark cuts to slam itself together in every gear after that. So
Exactly.
you can get around town and drive it. But I mean,
Let's
again,
put it this way: a used sequential gearbox for my GTR, used,
I'm gonna say
you don't want that smoke.
$17,000.
You don't want that
Damn.
smoke. buddy.
17.
$17,000, and that's used.
Mhm.
That's not new, gentlemen. That's
That's
used.
17 G's and needs a $7,000 refresh.
Probably. So he paid 10 grand for a fucking dog box. Like that's a
It's
deal,
honestly real,
And-
and it's a custom one with custom gearing and
bro. Yeah.
it's not a bad beat.
And for less than $2,000, I can convert it to be sequential.
I hate you.
That's
Well,
awesome. So
how
now my
often do you
next
get
question
it
is like, why
refreshed?
the fuck do you not have a sequential transmission?
Yeah.
That's easy. Is no one can do what do they call it? A strain gauge shifter. No one can integrate that into the ECU other than going full Cyvex, and I don't have 15
Cyvex
grand
is
to top it.
well. First of all, Cyvex is notoriously difficult to deal with. Like
Yep.
that's what all the Lambo dudes have to use,
Yep.
and like
because they're on the VW ECU. I mean, it's literally
Yeah.
the same ECU. Like all of the if I go into my like programming with VCDS, like Kyle and I were talking about, to change like settings in the internal computer, there's literally codes for Lamborghini. Like I can set the Lamborghini engine code for my car, and then it won't start because.
So here's my only question to that. Okay, is that like if you pull enough of the factory shit out, eventually you end up with components, right? Which will talk to anything as long as you program them to.
Yep.
So there is a universe where you could like throw a Haltech in the car. Granted, you'd have to rewire the entire fucking car, every single part of it, front to back, right? And that would be expensive in its own right. But you could do like sick wire mil-spec harness, right, and all the cool shit, and you're probably staring down the barrel of a $7,500 ECU and wiring job. But at that point, like, possibilities are endless because you pull enough fucking sensors off of shit, and you pull enough inherent programming, and it's just dumb fucking components, right? It's still injectors and fucking coils and everything else. So like, is there something about the way the factory car runs that you're trying not to lose?
No, I mean, really, it's the money.
It's just
the money to
financially,
throw into
right?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because now a $2,000 sequential job becomes a $7,000 ECU and wiring job, so now it's another 10 grand to get it to do it.
Yeah, and then I mean, at that point, like I'm not really gaining that much. Like right now, I've got it to where I'm dropping. Yeah, I mean the feeling of a sequential would be amazing, but like I mean, I've logged like power boost and RPM drop between shifts. With the factory transmission, I was dropping about 10 pounds of boost every shift.
Right.
Now I'm dropping 1 or less.
Wow.
Damn.
I mean, that's really, I mean, so you've kind of like hit that ragged edge. And I think the only thing that a sequential would take out at this point is margin of error, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean,
how often and how expensive is a refresh on your dog box?
I've done one, and let's see, the car has done almost 12,000 miles on the dog box. I've done one refresh, and it cost $800.
Oh, dude, that's not even
Wow.
bad.
$800?
No.
$800.
And all you have to do
That's
is
not
like
bad.
know
All
how
it
to drive a
was
stick
replacing it.
properly.
That's not
Wait,
bad at all.
That's not
Literally, the hardest thing to swallow is pulling it out and shipping it. Like that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, I
they're
mean, that's a
based
bitch.
in New York, which like sucks, but
They're in New York?
Yeah, they're in New York. So I
So okay,
literally
so
shipped
wait,
it from Atlanta to New
with
York.
shipping cost and everything, how much is it?
$1,500.
I mean,
No, more
shipping
than that.
both ways was what was that? $380 both ways.
380 both
That's
ways.
it's still okay. So
So you're $1,200
you're
for a refresh.
that's not bad at
That's
all.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
Wait, math is hard. That's $1,600 for refresh.
it's-
But
yeah,
still,
50.
If it's under $2,000, that's not
it's
bad
not
at
bad.
all.
And with 12,000 miles of basically all track driving, that's a fuckload of track driving. That's
Correct.
so much track driving. That's not a bad.
Oh no,
beat.
you
It's
can't drive slow.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but the real drill down of that is you can't drive it on the street effectively. It's not gonna like
Yeah.
it, right?
That's literally why this wore out. Like that's why I
Yeah.
have all these like chips and shit on the side of the teeth.
He's trying to
is
drive it on
from,
the
like,
street.
stop and go traffic. Like you can't like fly up on someone when they're doing like 45 and you're trying to accelerate through 30. Like it doesn't work. Like you can't be
No.
full throttle shifting like that. It just
Well, that's
you know.
the shit that people forget about fucking race cars is like they're sacrificing all levels of drivability for hot, nasty, badass speed, right? Like it doesn't.
Exactly.
You look at F1 engines and it's like, hey, if you idle this car for like a minute, it's going to explode. So don't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
It's meant to drive at full. Like that's it.
14,000
Like, it's all
RPM the whole
full.
fucking time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, so it's like Ryan Turk. I don't know if anybody follows this dude on Instagram, but he's taking a Judd V10, which is a Le Mans engine, and he put it in a A90 Supra, which is not even really an A90 Supra because it's like damn near a full tube frame car at this point. It's got like the center section. So he's got a Judd V10 with a sequential transmission and a full wide fab suspension and carbon fiber wide body. All of the one-off custom shit you can possibly imagine. Because he was like, I just wanted a 500 horsepower screaming V10 and an A90 Supra. It's a $40,000 engine.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, right. Like, but it's
The
like
YouTube series on that has been insane.
yeah, it's been great. Yeah, and
Okay.
like Dom Spec is a master fabricator and the shit that he does. And
Yeah.
like I come from like a light fabrication background. Like I used to do prototyping for Tesla and shit when I was really young. I had an internship that turned into like a apprenticeship, which was tight. It was a cool 3
Nice.
years of my life, right? But watching the shit that dude builds with a very like they have a lathe and a turret mill and like
Minimal tools.
I mean, a turret mill's not a minimal tool. They're expensive, but like at the same time, like I was working with like water jet machines and 5-axis
Yeah.
mills and all this other shit that I knew how to run. And I was like, yo, I couldn't do what he's doing with the shit that I had. I had fucking
Right.
$500,000 of machinery at my disposal and I couldn't
Yeah,
fucking
He's
build
like
exactly.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
dials and shit. You know,
Yeah,
he's not
you know,
like punching in a computer. It's insane.
This thing
what
has
they can do.
Inconel headers, custom.
Mhm.
It's like a $12,000 set of headers, and they're so fucking sick, right? Like Inconel is
It's a
like
great-
rarer than titanium, right? It's like way
Yeah.
more, yeah.
It's space shuttle stuff.
Yeah.
But like the thing that got me was they acid dipped the actual chassis.
Yeah. And then
That's
sandblasted it
crazy.
again. Like, just
Literally,
like-
the chassis is like paper now.
yeah, because
So
it's all
crazy.
fucking two frame. That's fucking
Mhm.
tight. Okay, so we
Yeah.
had a couple of questions in the chat because, like,
Yeah.
we're pushing 2 hours, so let's get through this. Everybody knows here that I was super hyped about the new Integra because I saw the fan render, which looked like an old ITR, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Fuck yeah!" And then Acura ruined everything by posting their own photos of the car, and I hate everything about it because it looks like a TLX,
It does.
and it's like
does.
4 doors. Essentially, from what I can gather, it's going to be a CTR with an Acura body
Yeah.
kit, right? It's different
Yeah.
front and rear. But Tom, who supports the shit out of us, question was, it is coming with a 6-speed manual. So how do we feel about it? So you're gonna have like a 305 horsepower turbo, 4-cylinder, 6-speed manual, front wheel drive, 4-door swoop back fucking bullshit,
Ish,
whatever the
yeah.
fuck that thing
Front
is.
wheel drive STI that's ugly.
Pretty much.
But is it gonna
Yeah.
be uglier than the last gen CTR?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm,
I feel like that's
Yes.
I feel like that's an interesting take. 'Cause
Toughie.
the
We're gonna have to wait and see, but I feel like a yes.
If it looks anything
but aren't we
like
better? But isn't the world better with
John-
more front wheel drive 6-speed manual quick cars in it?
Hell yeah.
quick, but not 400 horse.
Okay,
Too
but
much.
but you can make a CTR real fast, real easy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For
so I mean
sure.
it's the same. It's the K20A, whatever the fuck they're at this point, right? So like,
Yeah.
there's a dude with like a 600 wheel horsepower CTR that's stock bottom end, upgraded turbo stock bottom end. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty fucking quick. I mean,
Yeah.
This fool says we fit in the C. Okay. Anyway, whether or not it's ugly, I'm open to the possibility. but seeing the 10th gen Civic, like the new Civic Si they just debuted today, that's a objectively more attractive car.
See,
I'll give you that.
The 10th
About the
gen
Z.
Civic is going to be a more objectively attractive car and probably cheaper because it's not an Acura. So I guess I just don't really know what the fuck is the point, right? Other than saying you brought the Integra back.
If you throw the Z into the mix,
If it's moddable, then they can straight pipe it.
Would you say to throw the Z? I mean, listen, the 400Z, we had almost a whole episode stroking
Straight
each other
pipe
off on
the
the new
boys
Z.
will get behind it.
Like,
Tom, I swear.
everybody
I
here
swear.
is like about the new Z because that shit's sick. Like $40,000, 400 horsepower, whatever. Like it looks
right
cool.
recipe. I mean, it literally is the right recipe.
Yeah, it's the Nissan did a lot of shit right. I just wish we'd get another Sylvia. I really, really wish we get another
that'd be
Sylvia.
amazing. But you
Yeah.
know, if you get one, it's gonna be $50,000-$60,000.
It doesn't have to be because realistically, the
It will
closest
be,
thing,
though.
no, but the closest thing we have to a new Sylvia right now is an EcoBoost Mustang, and they're fucking 26 grand.
Okay.
Dude,
If
Turbo.
it gets
The tag on the new R?
if it gets that name Sylvia, it will be a $50,000-$60,000 car.
Which is fucking dumb. What did you say, Kyle? What did you say?
Have you
I'm
seen
saying.
the new price tag on the Golf R Mark 8?
The 43 or whatever the fuck
48.
it is.
I thought it was like 48.
58.
58?
Oh.
Fuck
You're
it. Never
high.
happening. Never
Oh.
happening. Is that markup? That's markup.
I mean, that's what it is like
100%.
right now. If you went to a dealer to try to buy one, they're
Fuck
selling
Yeah,
it
it's
at 58.
markup. That's
Well,
10
I mean,
grand. of a
okay,
markup.
first,
Or sticker.
to be fair, when the
That's not
original
fair.
Golf R came stateside, the dealer markup was dumb. There's the COVID tax, which is a whole other fucking level of shenanigans right now, right?
Mhm.
My concern is that it ends up like a Ford Raptor where you can like Ford Raptors, even now, if you only pay 5K dealer markup, like you gotta win. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like John Sullivan was doing like 15 fucking G's markup on Raptors, like when they'd been out for 4 years. Right. And I'm
Damn.
like, you're fucking high, dude. Like I'm not paying
They were
that.
still getting it, but they were still getting it.
Yeah, because motherfuckers are too cheap to buy a $200 plane ticket to Utah and drive that bitch back to California and
Oh,
register.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so hopefully that pulls off at some point. Because that car is sick. Like, I know that you didn't want a digital dash. I'm a huge fucking sucker for digital dashboards. Like, I just
My tow car has it, so
Okay,
I
yeah.
love it.
yeah,
yeah.
I mean they're fucking cool. Like my whole thing is like any old Japanese car I get is getting an S2000 gauge cluster in it because they just fucking
Yep.
look cool and they're easy to repin, right? So like,
Yeah.
they're
Yep.
actually pretty cheap. So, but yeah, I mean that's the bummer part. It's just it's so difficult to buy anything right now, you know.
It
And
is.
so it's to the
It
point
is.
where it's like
Hey, swap the new Tegra.
the fucking the general theme of this pod is that I kind of don't know where I want to be car wise. Like I have my STI and like part of me wants to finish it because I put a lot of work into it, but it's not where I want it to be.
Mhm.
So and there's a lot of muscle car guys out here, and I'm like, it'd be fucking cool to be smoking these motherfuckers in an STI on the fucking highway on the way home with like a 600 wheel horsepower STI, like that'd be tight.
Mhm.
At the same time, I'm like, C5 vets go sideways.
But
Yeah.
how many turns
I-
do you take to work?
I listen. This would not be on the way to work. This would be like I'll be home an hour late. Like I'm gonna go fuck around in the new developments that aren't finished for like an hour and then come home. You know what I mean? Like
Perfect. Perfect.
plus you got to remember there are quite a few racetracks close to me. Texas Motor Speedway has a giant skid pad where they just do like road
True.
bullshit testing and shit. So you can do shit like that. And for the cost of getting 400 horsepower out of my STI, I could buy a whole Corvette,
True.
Pretty much.
which is the shit
Do
that's
it.
really fucking with me right now. Because
Do
that
it.
hurts my whole heart just to think about the
That-
fact it's cheap. It's cheaper to buy a whole car with 350 horsepower than to just make my fucking 19 STI 400 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's an issue. Tom had asked a question to Kyle earlier, and I think we kind of touched on it, but just to say we did all the due diligence. Like, what specifically? What was the second where it pulled you off of roll racing and shit, and decided like, oh, my cars is from this point forward, like I'm gonna track them, like I want to go make turns and shit.
I mean, it was either the whole Petit Le Mans experience, or it was probably the second track day experience that I did with the car. So when it was like still roughly stock suspension form, just a little bit of power. That's really what changed it. I mean, there were like multiple times where I was pulling up on cars that I had no business being near. Like the very first time that I drove Road Atlanta, everyone says it's really good to do under 2 minutes. They were like, you got a VW, just try to hit 2 minutes. Like that's your goal. That's what it should be. And first time out, I did 150s, like
Holy shit.
pretty easily without like much
Damn.
difficulty. So from there, I was like, shit, either the car has something or I have something, but something needs
Either
to
way,
continue to
like,
be
yeah,
developed
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Like,
hell yeah.
let's go after it. So literally, it was just everyone's expression of holy shit, that car shouldn't be doing what it's doing, and somehow you're making it do it, and it makes it look good. So I just kind of like got the bug from there and was like, I have to make this the best R that I can and make it beat up on cars that it really has no business being around. I mean,
Hell yeah.
like
Giant
I
killers on the
can't.
track are always fun, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't. My favorite Nürburgring clips are like, just fucking Mini Cooper bullying fucking M3
Yep.
CS, and it's like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's fucking tight because fuck that rich
Well, my
dude. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. My
Fuck that
favorite
rich
feelings are like so before the straightaway at Road Atlanta, there's a real slow turn. Like, I mean, you have to go real low in speed. I'm going down the third gear. It's like a 50-mile-an-hour corner if your car is set up really, really well.
okay.
So I will usually catch cars like Corvettes, Mustangs, stuff in that corner and then pass them. They'll pass me back towards the end of the straight, but then I'll catch them in braking.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting track because like you got these cars with so much power, but they can't slow in time, or they're not willing to push it as far into that. So it's interesting that you can have a slightly lower power car but still punch with 500 and 600 horsepower cars out there.
Well, that
It's
was
pretty awesome.
that was what was that fucking meme that somebody posted in the drivers group the other day, and it was like when it's like 3 laps deep and that Miata's still on your ass, and it's like it's the dude like crying in the bathtub with the shower on and his
Yeah.
helmet on, and he's like,
Oh.
"Fuck, dude." Yeah. So I mean, the truck is like that's the great equalizer, right? Like you
It is.
you
It
can,
is.
if your car's set up right, you'll be able to get a lot out of, not a lot, you to your point, granted you have $10,000 baller transmission, but still.
Hey,
The other guy
Yeah, it
doesn't know
helps.
that. You know what I'm saying? The guy next to you doesn't. And
Yeah.
the GT3 RS or whatever doesn't fucking know that shit. So that's tight. Anyway, we have
Actually,
just officially cracked the 2-hour mark.
oh, shit.
So we should probably wrap it up. I
Before
think
you guys erase your chats, go click the link in the YouTube video that I sent to the Twitch. It is a Volkswagen T1 bus with a 993 twin turbo setup
Oh yes, I've
I've
seen this
seen
car.
that thing.
going around the Nürburgring.
Yes.
Mhm.
Fucking sick.
Fuck
Yeah.
yes. Everybody check
But
that
yeah.
out. Everybody check out Kyle Gurny at blackcat.racing. His channel is cool. What's your YouTube? This is Black Cat Racing.
Yeah, Black Cat Racing.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
If you want to go see a giant killer, go check out Black Cat Racing. Dude,
Hell yeah.
thank you for being on. I know that
Thank
it's
you.
you're dealing with the same time zone bullshit I'm dealing with right now, so it's pretty late. So we appreciate you hanging out late.
Problem. Yeah.
This fucking Tom, was it? Might as well round up to 3 hours. No, brother.
No.
We do appreciate you being on. We'd love to have you on again. That was fucking cool. Your car is fucking
sir.
sick.
Yes, sir.
Love to see a cool specialized track bit. Make sure you go file. Fucking Christ, I've been drinking too much. Follow Kyle. Also like, subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
We have finally started moving on the merch, talking to the sticker guy, doing all that kinds of shit. So we'll be seeing that shit pretty soon. If you guys want a shirt, fucking let us know. We'll figure out how many we need to make, and we'll fucking go from there and determine costs. See how much you guys are really down to ride for your shit.
Fuck yeah.
A lot of shit has happened with us. Not me personally, because I'm broke and not doing shit, but these guys have all been doing interesting shit with their cars. So we'll definitely touch on that on the next episode. Chris may have given his kid up for adoption. Who knows? Yeah.
We could talk about that.
We are definitely talk about that. As always, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody hanging out in chat. We appreciate all the new viewers. We did have some randos in the fucking chat tonight, so that's fucking sick. We appreciate you guys.
Okay.
And we'll be back in a couple weeks with another one. Peace out. Be safe. Drive safe. Don't crash.
Guys, thank
Go
you,
fast.
Kyle.
Don't die. Love you guys.
Peace.